Come in. Welcome. I'm E.G. Marshall. Welcome this time to a tale of the supernatural. Not frightening, not in the least horrifying, but intriguing, mystifying, strange. We all of us know that in this world there is a power greater than ourselves. Call it what you will. God, a force, the universal conscious, it exists. Some of us have experienced it, felt its touch in one way or another. But few have met with it in so unusual a way as the celebrated concert pianist Anton Wahlberg.
Lottie, my dear Lottie, if what you say is true...
It is, Anton. I know it is.
But impossible.
Nothing is impossible. We only think it is.
Lottie, I lost my hand. My right hand in that accident. My hand is gone. It no longer exists. And yet I am able to play.
True. Your hand no longer exists. But the spirit of your hand does. Only the body dies, Anton. The spirit never.
Our mystery drama, The Hand That Refused to Die, was written especially for the Mystery Theater by George Lothar and stars Mandel Kramer. It is sponsored in part by Buick Motor Division and Anheuser-Busch Incorporated, brewers of Budweiser. I'll be back shortly with Act One. Psychics tell us there is a life after death. Indeed, there are those who believe there are many lives after death, and others who hold a firm faith in reincarnation. We listen and go on about our daily lives until something happens that so affects our life, marks it, for good or ill, that we know there is unquestionably something, some invisible power, some unseen force of which we are a part. Anton Wahlberg began to realize this on the day he came home from the hospital to his luxurious penthouse apartment in New York City.
Welcome home, Anton.
Lottie, you... I thought you were in Chicago with your young prodigy.
He can get along without old Lottie Stern for a few days.
You arranged this, Alexis.
No, my darling, nothing was arranged. Lottie wanted to be here when you came home from the hospital, and here she is.
Well, arranged or not, you're more than a pleasant surprise, Lottie. You're what I need.
You depend on your old teacher too much. But I'm glad you do. It's very heartwarming for an ancient crone like me to be wanted, needed, by so handsome a man, so talented a man.
Handsome? Talented? I have only one hand now, Lottie. This left one. What good is it to be handsome? What use the talent?
Lottie, I need you, too, to cheer him up.
Well, of course, you're depressed, Anton,
Depressed? There's no word to describe my despair, Lottie. Why did this happen? Why to me? I was at the peak of my career. I was Anton Wahlberg, one of the most celebrated concert pianists in the world. I was 7 weeks ago. I no longer am. Ended everything. My career, my life, ended.
There is never an end without a beginning, Anton. The closing of one door is merely the opening of another.
And what door might be open to me without my right hand?
Only God knows. And you will too, when you seek it. Now, speaking of which, I asked Ada to serve tea in the music room. Come, let us go and seek that.
Excellent idea, Lottie. Anton?
I'm not sure I ever want to enter my music room, my study again.
Oh, my darling.
Never mind the sympathy, Alexis. It is the worst thing in the world. Come on, into the music room. I, Lottie Stern, order you. You hear me, Anton?
Lottie, I don't think I can bear even the sight of the piano.
Anton, you must. So, Your Ada has laid out a fine tea for us. Cucumber sandwiches, your favorite chocolate cake.
Who opened the keyboard?
The keyboard?
The piano keyboard. Alexis, I told you it was to be closed and never opened again.
I know you did, darling.
And you promised me. You promised.
Well, I kept my promise. The keyboard was closed when I left to bring you home from the hospital. I checked it personally.
Well, perhaps Ada...
No, I gave her strict orders. She was not even to touch the piano, even to dust it. I'd do that, I said.
I cannot bear the sight of the keys. Close the keyboard. Damn it, I'll close them myself.
Dearest, you're trembling.
Now, some good, strong tea will take care of that. Alexis, darling, will you pour, please?
Lottie, the day I get an ounce of sympathy from you, that will be the day.
I wouldn't hold my breath.
More of this bread, Dr. Lonsdale? Some butter?
Oh, thank you, Alexis. Yes. Damn, there goes my fork.
Oh, Ada, another fork for Mr. Wahlberg, please.
With only one hand, I'll never eat again, either.
I'll have to give you some lessons in surgical techniques, Anton.
Surgical techniques?
As a surgeon, I can assure you, you'll be astounded at what can be done with one hand. I know.
If anyone does, you do, old friend. You saved my life.
No, the doctor in Blaneyville.
That butcher.
You mustn't say that, Anton. Remember, he had to remove your hand to save your life. He had no option.
What was that?
Well, it sounded like... It couldn't be. Lottie, did you hear it? There it is again. Someone is fooling around with the piano in my study. Let's see about this.
Wait, I'll go with you.
I, too. Oh, no.
The piano keyboard is open again.
Again, Anton?
Yes, before I came home from the hospital this afternoon, I asked Alexis to make sure the lid of the keyboard was closed.
And it was when I left here.
But it was open when I got home. I myself closed it then, and now it's open again. Ada must be responsible for this.
It's in the kitchen, Anton.
Well, someone... And who struck that middle C twice?
It's curious.
It's beyond reason. It's incredible.
I'll close the lid.
No, leave it open. And let's rejoin Lottie in the dining room.
Lottie, we found the keyboard open again.
Who was in there, in the music room?
No one.
Someone struck middle C.
No, Madam Stern, there was no one there.
Someone was. Perhaps you could not see him or her.
You mean a spirit, a ghost?
Yes.
I'm afraid I don't believe in ghosts.
I do.
Come now, Lottie, don't tell us you've ever seen a ghost.
No, not seen. But I have felt them near me. To tell you the truth, Anton, they are always near me.
You mean the ghosts of those you knew in Auschwitz?
Yes.
Oh, Madam Stern,
Gordon, dear, don't be offended, but she prefers not to talk about it.
Oh, I understand. I'm sorry.
No, it's all right.
Here, Lottie. Have some more potatoes and gravy. That will solve everything.
It helps.
It's all right, Anton.
Please, everyone. It's just that when I get to thinking that maybe it might have been saved if you, Gordon, had operated instead of that Baronsville.
You smashed your car into a tree. Your right hand went through the windshield. It was so cut up, so mangled.
You could have saved it. I see it in your eyes. You could have.
Anton, I'm not so sure.
But there is a doubt in your mind. That little doubt means I might never have lost my right hand.
Anton, darling.
Excuse me, please.
Excuse me, I must go to him.
No, you stay here.
But I think
please. My dear, you are a wonderful wife to Anton, a beautiful and capable woman. But at times like this, he needs Lottie Stern. All right. Get it out of your system. Come on, let it come, all of it.
Lottie.
I know. Who would know better? My hands, you see. You know what they did to them. The Gestapo at Auschwitz.
I know. They broke your fingers one by one.
And when they healed, broke them again.
And your career, Lottie, that was ended too.
Yes, it was. And I felt, well, there are no words. How can you describe the sudden darkness in the soul, the emptiness in the heart? The physical pain, it was bad. Each finger snapped. It was horrible. The pain, unbearable. But all this nothing compared to what went on inside me. So, my darling Anton, I know what you are going through. I know.
Oh, Lottie. Lottie, what am I to do? Tell me, what am I to do?
What everyone does when all else fails.
And what is that?
Turn to God.
Lottie, I don't believe in God. Not after what happened to me.
Did you believe before?
I don't know. Never thought about it much.
Wait, let me. Hello? No, this is Madam's turn. Yes, he is. One moment. Here, it's for you, Anton. Someone named Bill Stone.
Oh, yes. A friend of mine works for United Press. Hello, Bill. Oh, well, thanks. Oh, well, I'm going to be all right. Yes? What? Strangled?
Gordon and I thought that...
Shh. Anton's on the phone. Something.
It's impossible. But, Bill, I know you better than to think you'd play any kind of sick joke on me. I don't care what they say at the FBI. Somebody made a mistake. Yes. Oh, well. Thanks, Bill. Thanks for calling.
Anton, what is it?
That was Bill Stone. You know Bill.
Of course.
Well, he said a story's just come in over the wire from Blaneyville.
So that's where you had your accident, just outside Blaneyville?
Yes. Dr. Barringer was found dead this afternoon in his office. Strangled.
Strangled?
By one hand.
One hand? The bruises show
yes,
that one...
that one hand strangled him to death. A right hand.
Well, this is the strangest...
It's more than strange, Alexis. It's impossible.
Why impossible, Anton?
Because, Lottie, they say it was my right hand that strangled him.
Strange. Bizarre. Words, unless, like Anton Walberg, you have experienced them. Then, strange, bizarre, macabre, change from words to something alive in your bloodstream. Well, you're experiencing them now. You're imagining them. And there is nothing more alive than your imagination. I'll be back shortly with Act Two. Certainly no greater tragedy could happen to a concert pianist than the loss of his right hand. And that is what happened to Anton Walberg 7 weeks ago. Now, in the music room of his expensive penthouse apartment in New York, Anton Walberg has received news that shocks him and his guests.
They've made a mistake at the FBI, that's all.
Darling, where did the FBI come into this?
The hand that strangled Barringer touched things in his office. Left prints. The Blaneyville police wired them to the FBI, and my prints are on file.
They are?
Some years ago, Gordon, I took out a $2.5 million insurance policy on my hands. Thank God I did. And the insurance company naturally wanted my fingerprints for identification.
Oh, I see. And the prints on file at the FBI...
Matched the prints found in Barringer's office.
The mistake.
I doubt if the FBI makes mistakes with fingerprints.
Lottie, what else could it be? Lottie, will you stop looking so mysterious? You see, no hand, Lottie. It was cut off here. It's dead.
Is it?
Huh. That's a curious thing to say, Madam Stern.
Dr. Lonsdale, what would they have done with Anton's severed hand?
Well, it would have gone to the nearest mortuary. Very likely the coroner or medical examiner would examine it. And then it would have been destroyed.
The hand, but not the spirit of the hand.
Oh, good Lord. We're back in the psychic world now.
I believe. You don't. You will.
I very much doubt that, Lottie. What I do believe is that my hand could not have strangled Dr. Barringer. If it were possible, which it isn't, why? Why would my hand strangle Barringer?
You know the answer, Anton.
The hand could have been saved. And because it wasn't, revenge?
What else?
Oh, nonsense. That's what else.
Alexis,
No
I
more.
tell you,
No, please. I asked you and Gordon to dinner tonight to help cheer Anton up. It's turning out to be the most depressing evening one can imagine. Now, if you don't mind, from here on in, we're going to talk about cheerful things.
Come in.
Alexis said you were in the music room. You didn't want to be disturbed.
So naturally, you disturbed me.
I must talk to you. And you have shut yourself away for nearly a week now.
Lottie, I don't want to see anyone, including you.
Now, Anton, as your coach...
Coach of what? A one-handed concert pianist?
All right, as your business manager...
You should reduce your fee by half. I'm only half a man, less.
All right, as your friend.
Yes, Lottie. Yes, you are that. And the best anyone ever had.
So then you listen to me. You cannot go on burying yourself in this room.
Why not? I am dead.
You are anything but dead. All right, so you have one hand. There is much you can do with one hand. You can teach.
I would loathe it.
I did too, at first. Almost. I couldn't bring myself to it. Today, I am glad I did. It has been an experience as rewarding... Well, almost as rewarding as playing.
I find that hard to believe, Lottie.
You are going to stop brooding. You are going to come back into the world, Anton. You are going to become active again and take an interest in life starting tonight.
Tonight?
My new prodigy, Raphael Klein, the one I left in Chicago to come to you, he is performing tonight at Carnegie. Now, I want you to hear Raphael. You must hear him, because you are going to be his teacher, his coach.
You're his teacher, his coach.
And I am old. I am too old to handle the younger generation. Raphael needs many things you can give him. Your fingering. Yes, Anton, I said your fingering. You can demonstrate that with one hand. Your interpretation, especially of Beethoven, and above all, your dedication. The need to practice. Which reminds me, have you?
Have I what?
Practiced.
You know, I think you're going mad, Lottie. Practice with just my left hand?
Well, keep the piano in tune at least.
The hell with the piano!
Did you hear that?
Piano string losing tension. It happens to a piano and isn't played.
So do me and the piano a favor. Play it.
Do me a favor and get lost.
All right. But you'll come tonight.
Oh, have I any choice?
No.
All right, I'll come.
One thing more. I have, not good news.
Is there any other kind?
No, be serious, Anton. This, has to do with money.
Oh?
About the insurance on your hands.
Yes.
The $2.5 million. It may be the company isn't going to pay it.
What?
Oh, no. Come on, calm yourself. There's nothing definite about this yet. But I talked this morning with the senior vice president. He asked me to come and see him. I went. He said that according to the Blainville police report, the accident, well, you were at fault.
Me? At fault?
Anton, did you fall asleep at the wheel? You wouldn't lie to Lottie now, would you? Did you?
Yes. Damn it, I was tired, Lottie, exhausted. The schedule you set up for me, a night in Atlanta, a night in Aiken, a night in Baton Rouge, a night here, a night there, traveling every day. What would you expect?
You could have told me that you are getting older. All right, now. Tonight, my place for dinner, and then we go on to Carnegie.
But what about the $2.5 million, my insurance?
We'll see. We may have to sue.
Lottie, we will have to sue. I'm nearly broke, Lottie. Without that money, I might as well be dead. I will be. I'll see to that.
What do you mean?
I mean, I can't take anymore, Lottie. I can't suffer anymore. I'll kill myself. What was that?
Need you ask?
What's an unseen hand? An invisible hand.
Your hand, Anton.
Oh, no.
What else?
But it's impossible. And if it were possible, Why?
Because you said you would kill yourself. And your hand, the spirit of your hand, protested.
But it is dead.
Here we are. D101 through 104. After you, Alexis.
Thank you, Lottie.
Now you, Anton. Here, you sit between us.
What a pity that Gordon couldn't make it at the last minute.
Well, emergency operations, too bad. Well, he will hear my Raphael another time, for he will someday be famous. You are silent, Anton. You say nothing.
What's to say?
Oh, you don't always have to say something. You could be just pleasant.
I will be, if I can think of anything to be pleasant about.
Raphael Klein will change your mood. He will play first Chopin Fantasy Impromptu. It is one of your favorites.
A favorite I shall never be able to play again. Ow.
What is it, Anton?
Now, look, Lottie, enough is enough.
What are you talking about?
You slapped my face.
I didn't touch you.
Yes, you did.
Anton, I didn't.
Lottie, look at his cheek.
Yes. It's red, as if someone did slap him.
You?
I assure you. Later. Oh, look, Alexis, is he not young and handsome?
Oh, yes.
Oh, that, too, is good for the box office. The women will go mad over him. Anton, well, what do you think?
I don't know yet.
His arm. Raphael Klein's right arm. Something's happening.
He has trouble, some sort of trouble.
God, it's as if he's fighting some invisible force. Look.
Lottie, this is unbelievable.
His right arm is hanging by his side, but his left hand plays for both the right and the left. I can't believe this is happening. I cannot believe it.
Chopin cannot be performed with one hand, but he's doing it. It's a miracle.
Here's his dressing room. Come. Oh, Raphael. Why did you leave the stage after the Chopin?
I can't go on, Lottie.
After performing a miracle, you can't go on. The entire audience is on its feet calling for you, and you can't go on.
After what just happened?
What did happen out there, Mr. Klein?
It was as if... Oh, you're Anton Wohlberg.
Yes. Well, go on. Tell me. What happened to you?
Well, some force suddenly gripped my right arm, began to pull my hand, my right hand, off the keyboard. I didn't know what was happening to me. I thought I was having some sort of seizure, or I was going mad, or I don't know what.
And then?
My left hand kept playing.
You mean you kept playing with your left hand?
No, Lottie, no. My right arm. It was forced down to my side, and I was scared. I was so scared I couldn't have gone on playing with my left, and I didn't. It did.
Your left hand went on playing by itself?
I certainly didn't go on playing. My left hand didn't even feel to be a part of me. I couldn't have done what my hand did, play for both the right and the left.
But we saw. You must have practiced.
Lottie, how can you practice the impossible? The fantasy cannot be played with one hand.
But you did it?
No, not me. I don't know what, but... Not me. There's no understanding this, no understanding it at all.
We will talk of this later after the concert.
Lottie, I told you I can't go on. I'm shaken up. I'm a bunch of nerves.
Better you control your nerves than we return their money. Now pull yourself together, Raphael, and go out there.
But Lottie,
go.
Do as Lottie says, Mr. Klein. There's greatness in you, but you'll never reach it if you let nerves take the upper hand.
All right. I'll go back on then.
Lottie. Anton, should you have sent him back on stage? He's terribly shaken.
He must learn control. He must learn discipline. Discipline is everything.
Even to performing miracles?
What do you mean, dear?
No, even the thought is foolish.
What thought?
Klein, he's young, inexperienced. I'm a veteran of the concert stage, skilled, practiced, experienced.
So?
Well, if his left hand could perform like that, why not mine?
Oh, my dear.
He did it. His hand, yes, it seemed like a miracle, but was it? It moved up and down that keyboard so fast it appeared to be in two places at once.
True, that's very true.
You know what I think?
What, dear?
Another foolish thought, perhaps, but I think it was my hand that gripped his arm out there tonight.
Now, darling.
I know it's crazy, but could it be that the hand, my hand, Lottie, the spirit of my hand was trying to show me what can be done with one hand?
Can Anton Wahlberg possibly find enough faith in himself to, well, perform virtual miracles at the piano? Surely this seems to be what the spirit of his hand is trying to tell him that he can. And yet, really now, is not the impossible impossible? We shall see when I return shortly with Act 3. What is spirit? What is it that lives in you and in me that impels us to make supreme efforts now and then and nags us when we fail? And yes, leaves us in peace when we succeed. All religions teach that it is a spark of God that burns deep in our souls, and we are put here on this earth to learn how to fan that spark into flames. Anton Wahlberg has touched that tiny spark, but wonders now if he can fan it into flame.
I can't do it. I can't. It's impossible. I was a fool to think it could be anything else.
You have been trying for less than a week.
I shouldn't have tried at all. What Raphael Klein did that night, there was something supernatural. It had to be. But this piano isn't supernatural, and neither am I.
All right, Anton. You have practiced enough. Now, Anton, I must speak to you. I spent several hours at the insurance company today.
Several hours?
Yes, they had much to tell me, much to show me. There is more than enough evidence to prove negligence on your part, Anton. Evidence that proves you were driving at approximately 75 miles an hour at a time when you were in an exhausted state and you must have fallen asleep at the wheel.
They deny the claim.
Well, they offer a compromise, a settlement.
I will not.
Now, you will wait a minute. Always you will not this and you will that. Now, please, listen. And then if you want, you throw a tantrum.
I'm listening.
All right. The terms of the policy are clear. They're all too clear. They are well within their rights, the company, not to honor the claim. Still, you have paid the premium for many years, and they wish to be fair with you. So they offer you the compromise. They settle for $100,000.
Fair. They settle $2.5 million for $100,000. How long can I live on that? That's peanuts.
So you will live on peanuts until you discipline your left hand to perform for the right one as well. Now, don't look at me as if I'm crazy. It can be done. You saw it done. You saw the spirit of your hand pointing the way, showing you.
You are not only old and fat, you are mad. Absolutely.
Okay to come in. Ada said we'd find you in the music room.
Come in, Gordon. Come in.
Madam Stern.
Oh, Dr. Lonsdale, it's good to see you.
I apologize again for missing your dinner, the Klein concert the other night, but couldn't be helped.
You are forgiven.
Well, Anton, you wanted to see me?
Yes. I'd like your opinion, Gordon. The opinion of a professional man, a man who knows what he's talking about when it comes to the human body and what it's capable of.
Yes?
Gordon, Raphael Klein did a remarkable thing the other night.
I know. I read the critics the next day. He did the impossible, I understand.
But he did it.
Lottie, please. Gordon, what I want to know, what I want you to tell me, can I duplicate what Klein did?
Play a piano concerto that requires two hands with only one?
Yes. Lottie says I can. I say I can't. I've tried for nearly a week now, and I find it impossible. In your opinion, if I were to go on trying, could I do it?
Well, I've been thinking about what Klein did and puzzling over it, and frankly, I can't explain it. I understand his right arm suddenly became paralyzed. Is that so, Madam Stern?
You might put it that way.
Well, what other way would there be?
Well, that night, in the excitement of what happened, I'm afraid we all acted a bit stupidly, Gordon. I'm ashamed to say that even I believed that my right hand, the spirit of my hand, had taken hold of Klein's right arm and forced it down to his side. You may well look at me as if I were out of my mind, Gordon, but I did think that at the time.
I can see you've changed your mind. And you, Alexis?
Well,
Madam Stern?
No, I have not.
But, my dear Madam Stern,
You do not understand, Dr. Lonsdale. Some curious things have happened, things which cannot be explained in the normal way. The fingerprints that prove Anton's hand strangled Dr. Beringer.
Well, a mistake in the fingerprint.
You know that's not probable.
It's possible.
That piano there, it has played with no one near it. Played by an unseen hand. How do you explain that?
That's a tough one, man.
Gordon, I apologize. I didn't ask you to come here to put you through an inquisition. All I want to know is, do you think I can do what Klein did that night? I don't mean perform miracles. I mean, with practiced discipline, could I train my left hand to move quickly enough, skillfully enough to do the work of both?
No. No, of course not. You did...
Gordon! Gordon!
My throat is choking.
It's the hand! It is the hand!
I command you, stop! You hear? Stop!
Oh, good Lord.
Are you all right?
I hope so. Whatever gripped my throat, the power, the strength,
It was the hand. Now I know.
Anton.
No, Alexis. Now I believe. The other night, you remember, Lottie, when I said I'd kill myself if the insurance company denied my claim? The hand banged angrily on the piano. It was telling me I was wrong to think such things. In Carnegie Hall, just before Klein came on stage, I said I'd never be able to play again, and the hand slapped my face. And then the hand, the spirit, demonstrated through Raphael Klein what the human body can accomplish. I'm going to do it. I'm going to try to do it, and if it's humanly possible, I will. With God's help, I will. I can't, Lottie. I can't. Look at my hand. It's swollen with practice, numb with the effort of trying and failing. I said I would do the impossible with God's help, but even God has given up.
Yes. He gets tired too sometimes.
Nowhere near as tired as I am.
Maybe you are trying too hard.
Can you try too hard?
I think maybe, perhaps. Sometimes, I learned this in Auschwitz. It is better to stop trying and ask God to help you make the effort. After all, He has to make the effort too.
And what do you do instead?
You lean on Him instead.
Oh, come, Lottie.
No, I mean it. We are controlled by the spirit within us. It was only when I stopped thinking and so stopped trying, leaned on God, and it's a silly thought could be He leaned on me too. It's so much easier for both to lean instead of making an effort, temporarily, to give a little rest. Well, things worked out. When I stopped pushing, life stopped pushing back. And maybe, who knows, maybe we didn't understand the hand.
Not understand it?
I don't know. Well, anyhow, I have come to ask you a favor, Anton, a big favor.
Of course, Lottie. Anything.
I cannot coach Raphael any longer. I am too old, and he is beyond me now. But not beyond you, not yet even approaching your skill. Now, I know that you don't want to teach, all right. I don't ask you to take him on permanently, but would you... He wants it, I want it. Would you coach him now and then.
No, Lottie, I couldn't.
But why not? A half hour here, a half hour there, when it's convenient.
Shall I tell you the truth? I couldn't bear it.
Why not?
Because he is young, and I am not. He is on the way up, and I am finished. He has 2 hands.
Yes. Well, I'll tell him. He will be disappointed.
I'm sorry, love.
It's all right. Oh, before I go, I almost forgot. Here's the check for $90,000, the insurance.
90,000? What happened to the other 10?
It's my 10%. I have to live too.
No, Alexis, no.
She's here,
I don't
darling, with
care.
him. You must.
Don't care, so who cares you don't care? Come in, Rafe, come in.
Lottie, I am telling you.
Enough. Alexis, dear, please, some coffee.
Yes, of course, Lottie.
Now, Anton, you don't have to coach him, you don't have to teach him, but you can show him. And that is what you're going to do, because I, Lottie Stern, say that is what you're going to do.
All right, Lottie, what is it?
He is having trouble with the impromptu, and he has a concert in St. Louis in 10 days. You can show him in an hour.
All right. Go help Alexis make the coffee. All right, Klein, sit down. Play.
In the name of humanity, stop it. You call yourself a concert pianist? Play like that? You've had a few concerts, have you? So what? Big deal. Carnegie Hall? Big deal. You want to know something? You stink. The way you're playing that passage, I can smell it.
I'm sorry, Maestro.
You're sorry, and stop calling me Maestro.
Yes.
I told you that. Now try it again. With less odor.
Yes.
Stop talking, damn it, and play. Listen to me. Will you listen?
Yes, Anton.
Yes, Anton. Yes, Anton. But you don't listen. If you listened, you'd hear. And if you heard, you would do. A lot better than you've been doing for the last 5 hours.
You tired?
Dead tired.
Have some more coffee.
It's cold.
We'll get used to it. Hot coffee backstage is always cold. How are your hands?
Okay.
You want a hot towel for them?
No, I'm all right.
Then begin again. From the top.
No, stop it. You are terrible. There is no other word for the way you play. Terrible. I give you up.
No, I give you up.
You give me up.
You keep talking. Do it this way, do it that way. What do you think I'm made of? What the hell do you think I'm made of? If you know so damn well how it ought to be done, you do it.
I've only got one hand.
Then use it. Show me with your left hand. If you think you're such a hot-shot pianist, show me. Don't tell me, show me.
My God, I will. Get off that bench. Get off of it. Let Anson Wahlberg show you.
I'm playing. For both hands. My left hand playing for both, but it's impossible.
Play. Go on, play.
It was a trick, Lottie. All a trick.
What else?
He deliberately played badly.
He could play that passage better than you ever could, and does. He was a smash in St. Louis.
He'll be a smash in the world. He'll surpass me.
That is so difficult.
It makes you feel better to insult me.
Anton. Anton, we have been through so much together, so much. And now, a new life begins for you. You will be Rafie Klein's Madame Stern. His coach, his manager.
No, Lottie, I will be his Anton Walberg. There is only one Madame Lottie Stern.
True. So I'll coach you how to coach.
Yes, Alexis.
Oh, I'm sorry to disturb you two, but more tea?
Yes, darling. Thank you.
You wouldn't maybe have some schnapps, just a little, a touch. I'm getting old. It's a chill in my veins.
Good excuse as any. Lottie, the piano there. Not a sound out of it since I agreed to coach Rafe.
Not a sound.
We were wrong. The hand, it was pointing the way to a new career.
No, not the hand.
Not the hand?
God.
God works in mysterious ways, his miracles to perform. Says so in the Bible. Must be so. But how often in your life, how often in mine, have we moved toward one goal only to end up at another? And then, who's to say which was the right goal? I think God. What do you think? I'll be back shortly. I'm asked, these stories you tell us, are they true? I can only answer, what do we mean by true? Some actually happened in real life, as we say. Others, let me confess, are products of my imagination. And most important, yours. But how real is real life? And how real is imagination? Yours and mine. Difficult question. I try to answer it sometimes. Our cast included Mandel Kramer, Marion Seldes, Carol Teitel, and Russell Horton. The entire production was under the direction of Hyman Brown. Now, a preview of our next tale.
What do you have in the pet carrier box?
I hate to tell you, but
Oh, dear, not again.
I'm afraid so.
Oh, you are so careless with pets, Hugo. That's 4 cats dead already this year. You'll want to bury this one out by the roses, too.
If I may.
Well, it's getting a wee bit crowded, but I'm sure you'll find a nice little spot. What happened to that pussycat of yours, Hugo?
She had an accident.
Oh, what sort of accident?
To tell you the truth, she sort of lost her head.
Oh, you leave your door open and your poor little cat rushes out into traffic, particularly on that busy street you live on. What do you expect? Well, dear, you'd better hurry. It's getting dark.
Yes, that's what I was waiting for.
Radio Mystery Theater was sponsored in part by Anheuser-Busch Incorporated, Brewers of Budweiser, and Buick Motor Division. This is E.G. Marshall inviting you to return to our Mystery Theater for another adventure in the macabre. Until next time, pleasant dreams. Come in. Welcome. I'm E.G. Marshall. Nothing strikes a deeper chill to the heart than the maniac at loose, who strikes without reason and without warning. The creature of murderous whim who stalks the night, who repeats his odious crimes at random, and who, by the very purposelessness of his actions, evades the law and punishment. This story is about such a man. As true a candidate for the Hall of Ill Fame as Jack the Ripper or the Boston Strangler.
Sergeant, where the Sam Hill is Detective Renzulli? Hasn't he gotten back from that code 2 yet?
Hi, Lieutenant.
Oh, Tony, you're back. What did you get?
Female Caucasian, height about...
Never mind the vital statistics. Did you get a make?
Proceeding on instructions to the scene of the crime,
Tony,
the perpetrator
just
has...
speak English. Is it another one?
Yeah, Lieutenant. Just a torso, like call arrest. She didn't have any head.
Our mystery drama, The Trouble with Murder, was written especially for the Mystery Theater by Ian Martin and stars Robert Morse. It is sponsored in part by Anheuser-Busch Incorporated, Brewers of Budweiser, and Buick Motor Division. I'll be back shortly with Act One. What prompts a human being to commit a senseless and savage crime? The reasons are as many and varied as the human brain is capable of conceiving. In the case of the Brooklyn headhunter, as he came to be known, at least 2 motives were ruled out. The girls had not been assaulted, and robbery appeared unlikely, since although the torsos were nude, all of them wore either rings or earrings of some considerable value. And by all odds, the most tantalizing question of all was, since the bodies kept being recovered, where were the heads?
This ding-a-ling has got to be a surgeon or at least a medical student, the way the heads are. Well, whoever he is, we've got to find him.
Excuse me, Lieutenant.
What?
My name is Hugo Mintner, a citizen. I want to make a complaint.
Would you mind seeing the sergeant sitting at the desk, citizen? I'm talking police business to the detective.
I want to talk police business, too.
Look, Mr.
Hugo Mintner.
All right, now, Mr. Minter.
No, with an N.
What?
Mintner, not Minter. She was an actress in the silent films, Mary Miles.
Oh, some days it don't pay to get up. Well, whatever your name is, why don't you take your complaint to the sergeant?
Because in my experience, Sergeant Danielson never listens to or takes any actions on my complaints. Nor does Sergeant Brader or Sergeant Fryhouse or the one with ulcers who never gives out his name.
You've been here before.
Naturally.
A chronic complainer, a repeater.
Well, what is it you complain about, Mr.
Mintner?
Citizen?
Well, various things. Tonight it happens to be acid rock.
You don't like rock?
Not when it's loud enough to split the eardrum.
Your neighbors are playing music too loud. Knock on the wall.
The reaction is only to turn it up further.
Where do you live, mister?
Well, Columbia Heights.
Now, what do you do for a living?
I'm an artist.
Unemployed, huh?
On the contrary. I work for Sawyer Studios as a draftsman on graphics and cartoon figures. And for a living, too.
Okay. I'll tell you what I'll do. You go to the desk, swear out your complaint, and I promise you, once I'm through with the detective here...
I suppose it's really hopeless to get the police to pay proper attention to me. I know the moment I'm out of sight, I'll be out of mind.
You ain't kidding, Diggling.
Okay, Tony, now we've got him out of here. Let's get down to the real problem. I've got to get the boys upstairs off my back about this headhunter. Now, let's hope this time we can get a lead that at least might start us on the way to finding out who he is.
That's what makes it so very difficult with the police. They just are not personally interested in my problems. It's really what started it all in the in the beginning. And of course, by now, it's all gotten quite out of hand. If I'd only gone to them a year ago. But you see, they never pay any attention to me. They never have. And that's what stopped me from going to the police. Not from what has just happened again. So here I am, having to make an extra visit, besides my regular weekly one, to Aunt Minerva in Flatbush.
Oh, hush up, Rosebud. Well, Mrs. Suppleman, I'm afraid I'm giving you a card you want.
That will be the day. Fooey, with over half the pack gone, I should load up with a king. Here.
Oh, that's very generous of you, Mrs. Koppelman. Gin.
What is the card you turned over? I knew it. That was my gin card.
Oh, who could that be? Let me just peek who it is. Oh, sakes alive, it's Hugo. On a Thursday. That's not his day.
Well, while you let your nephew in, I'll say goodnight.
Oh, you don't have to run, Bernie.
Oh, I would not intrude on family.
Hello, Aunt Minerva.
Oh, Hugo. Dear boy, this is a nice surprise.
How are you, Mrs. Koppelman?
At my age, why complain? You brought Minnie a new pet?
Not exactly.
Excuse me. I did not mean to pry. But I see you carrying the box. See you tomorrow, Minnie.
Of course, Bernice. Well, come in, Hugo.
Thank you, Auntie.
What do you have in the pet carrier box?
I hate to tell you, but...
Oh, dear, not again.
I'm afraid so.
Oh, you are so careless with pets, Hugo. There's 4 cats dead already this year.
That's the way the ball bounces sometimes. I hope you're not too angry with me.
Oh, of course not, you poor boy. You're so kind and gentle. That's what makes it unfortunate. You have such bad luck with pussycats. Oh, you'll want to bury this one out by the roses, too.
If I may.
Well, it's getting a wee bit crowded, but I'm sure you'll find a nice little spot. Well, the spade is in the lean-to, and while you're putting poor Pussy to rest, I'll brew us a little tea.
Get away, you.
Oh, don't scold him. He just senses the presence of one of his own departed. Oh, hush, Rosebud. What's upsetting you, you sweet boy? Oh, dear, his hair's all standing on end, and... Hugo, look at what he has on his fur. It looks like blood.
It does. You see, Auntie,
It's from the box. What happened to that pussycat of yours, Hugo?
She had an accident.
Oh, what sort of accident?
To tell you the truth, she sort of lost her head.
Oh, you leave your door open and your poor little cat rushes out into traffic, particularly on that busy street you live on. What do you expect? Well, dear, you'd better hurry. It's getting dark.
Yes, that's what I was waiting for. Quite often, like now, this time, I've had this urge to confide in Auntie Minerva. I don't know, but somehow I've had the feeling that she would understand. Though she's so much older, we have so many things in common. But then I think to myself, if she really knew what I have inside this box, I don't know if she'd understand any more than anyone else would. Goodbye, Marilyn. You only die a little death. I will make you immortal.
Come in. What do you got, Tony?
This report of processing of fingerprints taken from the deceased in the torso.
Well, the print's clear.
Oh, sure. Like I said, this one hadn't been in the water long enough for
So
decomposition.
her prints aren't on file anywhere.
Yeah, that's right.
What about identifying marks?
She had a mole on the sole of her left foot, and appendicitis scar.
The doctor didn't sign his name by any chance.
No, Lieutenant. Real neat job.
So it's another dead end.
Well, it's tough to get a make on a body that hasn't got a head.
Why can't we find the other end just once? What does he do with them? Where does he get rid of the heads?
Well, did you get our little friend put away all right?
Oh, yes, Auntie. Oh, the tea is delicious as always.
Oh, well, I feel just a little wicked, actually.
About what?
Well, I couldn't resist today lacing our tea with a little rum.
I think maybe I'll have another cup.
Well, it's awfully good for the arthritis. Oh, you're not getting a tinge of that by any chance?
Oh, no. I think I just got a little chill out there in the garden.
Oh, poor boy. So sensitive. Ever since you were a child. Everything affected you so. Hugo, how old are you now?
35 and a half.
You see, high time you settle down with a nice girl with a good sound head on her shoulders.
I think I'll have another cup of tea.
Oh, don't forget it has rum in it.
I wasn't forgetting.
I think I might join you. It's really quite delicious. Good for what ails you, as Horace used to say. So lonely with him gone all these years. A person really ought to be married.
Well, a person has got to find the right girl first.
That's why I thought Gloria was for you. Of course, I only met her the one time, but I really thought she'd quite lost her head over you. Whatever happened to break it off?
I really would rather not talk about Gloria, if you don't mind. It was a rather, it was a painful experience for both of us.
Oh, well, if she hurt my boy, I'm glad she's out of your life. After all this time, I suppose she is a dead issue.
Oh, yes. Gloria is all of that. You see, Auntie, I don't want you to worry about me and having a girl, and I have other things to do first. It's too soon to tell anyone, even you, but I promise you, once the secret is out, you'll be the first to know, dear Auntie. I owe you that much.
Oh, you're such a sweet boy. You don't owe me anything at all.
Oh, you'd be surprised. I'd never have got ahead without you. That is, if it hadn't been for you, I'd never been able to get rid of Gloria. Shut her out of my mind and just got over her. And look, I really must go.
Oh, aren't you going to stay to dinner?
I'm afraid I can't.
Oh, well, all right, dear. I'll see you tomorrow for your regular visit. And we can have a nice long talk about Gloria and how to find a nice new girl you can lose your head over.
A person really feels terrible not to be totally honest with someone like Aunt Minnie. But there is the difference between the sexes and the generations, and then the very special circumstances that I'm involved in. It takes someone of very large vision to understand what it's all about, and how it all began with Gloria. I wonder if anyone would really understand it. If I explained it right out.
Jack the Ripper? The Boston Strangler? Could someone as inoffensive and humorless as Hugo Mintner join their august company? Are we faced with another Dr. Jekyll who can retrogress diabolically into Mr. Hyde? And is perhaps the single most important key in our private investigation the word humorless? I'll return very shortly with Act Two. Run through the crime statistics for any major city. Just the sheer incidence of each crime. And you can wonder how any of them at all can be solved. The appalling weight of figures drowns the police departments, almost paralyzes them. Countrywide, some 6 million offenses. In any one of our main urban centers, an average of 40,000 for auto theft, 20,000 for robbery, over 500 for manslaughter or murder, and those are the ones reported. There are the others, like Hugo.
Riding back from Flatbush in the subway, the empty pet carrier box balanced on my lap because it was crowded. The rum in the tea I'd had kept me nodding. I had to fight against falling asleep, and so I had no defense left against other memories of the past year that filled my consciousness. Most of all, Gloria. I remembered how I first met her. Oh, excuse me, I didn't mean to jostle you.
Oh, that's okay, John. Any port in the storm?
Sure is raining. Oh, my name isn't John, it's Hugo.
Okay, Hugo. Right on both counts.
I'll try to get a taxi. But, could I drop you somewhere?
That's the best you have in mind?
What else?
Maybe you're for real. Okay, honey, you get the cab. You could drop me by my hotel.
We get to my place sooner in your hotel. You like to stop off, maybe for a drink?
I don't know.
Dinner?
You cook?
Well, I studied, and I have an osso buco simmering.
How come you knew I was Italian?
I didn't. Are you?
Oh, well, like way back, but I dig that osso buco.
So, you want to stop at my place?
This weather, what can I lose? Make it your pad. Nice place here?
It serves.
It what?
I like it, too.
You autistic or something?
I beg your pardon?
All them pictures on the wall.
Oh. Oh, those. Well, yes. Well, those are just things I like. Someday, maybe I'll have my own to hang. Well, here's your drink.
That's a Manhattan?
Rye and sweet vermouth.
Yeah, but rye first and then a touch of the other. Let me fix it, huh?
Oh, sure. I'm not very good with drinks.
That's okay. What are you good at, Hugo?
Well, I don't know. I never thought about it.
Whatever you do, you make money?
Oh, an adequate amount, I suppose.
Like, for example?
Well, before take-home, taxes and all that, depending on overtime, about $24,000, $30,000 a year.
Oh, that's very adequate. Here, honey, try this.
That's very strong.
Oh, only the first sip. You'd be surprised how smooth it gets the next couple of times around.
It doesn't seem quite as strong now.
Well, keep at it. You'll like it.
I already do.
That's the first step. Now, how do you feel about me?
I liked you from the very beginning.
No other ideas occurred to you?
Well, I'd like to kiss you. Now what?
Oh, do I have to tell you?
She was the most marvelous thing that ever happened to me. All I could think of was the Song of Solomon. Behold, thou art fair, my love. Thou hast dove's eyes within thy locks. Thy teeth are as a flock of sheep that appear from Mount Gilead, and none barren among them. That's from the Bible. She was so beautiful. I wanted to make her immortal.
In the new?
Because there is nothing more beautiful than the human figure.
Look, I never went that route. Dirty pictures. I know it pays good, but
This isn't dirty pictures. Please, I want to paint you.
You mean like a centerfold in a Swinger magazine?
Well, something like that, but...
well, you get it if you put up. Anytime little Gloria strips down for the public view, it's got to be cash on the line.
I suppose I should have been warned by her attitude, but she was so beautiful that I couldn't wait to do what I'd always dreamed of doing. Capturing a real woman on canvas. Not drawing outlines that were a caricature of the human figure, mechanically reproducing lettering or someone else's sketch, but creating by my own hand the flesh and blood and soul of a real woman. No, please, don't move, please.
Oh, look, Hugo, I didn't bargain for this. I'm just about frozen stiff. These prices that don't pay.
Is money all you think of?
Well, what else is in this for me?
I am putting an image of you on canvas that will never fade. I am making you forever immortal.
Oh, sure. Well, what magazine you going to sell it to?
Oh, you don't understand. Can't you appreciate that this is real art?
Only if you pay the fee, Buster.
But you know I promised to pay.
So right.
Gloria, don't.
So what?
Don't spoil everything.
Thanks a lot, Hugo, but there just isn't enough in it for me.
How much do you want? I've tried to pay you as much as I can.
You're kind of cute, you know? But you just don't reach where it's at. You couldn't hope to match in a week what I rake in an average night.
You mean, you're a professional?
Well, you're the first one ever registered a complaint.
You can't do that to me.
Oh, don't be silly.
I made you something special. A goddess. I mean, that's the way that I painted you.
Look, you want to think it's good? Okay. By me, I ain't all that hippie. And you could at least leave the bags out under my eyes.
You don't appreciate real art.
I think it's lousy.
I tried to make you the most beautiful woman since the world began.
Well, suit yourself. Just don't try to merchandise it. Unless I share in the proceeds.
What are you talking about?
Oh, look, Hugo, you hired yourself a pro. Any use you make of my body, you pay just like my regular job.
I can't believe what you're saying.
Well, you better believe it.
But I love you.
That's your problem.
You mean you don't return my love?
It's all in the open. You just have to be kidding. The only return involved here is what I get paid if you make a big sale.
I can't believe what I'm hearing.
Well, you better, Hugo. You made your bed.
Except I don't have to lie in it.
Well, what's your way out?
I don't want to reach for it, but I won't let you walk out on me.
Well, how could you stop me?
Like this?
No! Wait, you got...
I don't want to! I don't want to! But what else can I do? Gloria? Gloria? Oh, my God! I've killed her. I didn't mean it to happen this way. The madness that came over me was terribly sudden, without control. My hands had spanned her throat, and she was dead. In that moment, the incredible was born. It had its own inexorable logic. The body was unclothed, and even if discovered, would be hard to identify. But the head was the problem. I was grateful for all my anatomy classes. A relatively simple problem. Over the bathtub. A complex circumferential cut, then a simple excision between the cervical and thoracic vertebrae. The body, out my overhanging window, in the dark before midnight, into the Hudson's receding tide. The severed head into the cat carrier box, the first foreign corpse to grace my Aunt Minerva's private pet cemetery. Even after the rest of Gloria was gone for good, and I filled up the hole, I was shaking like a leaf. I could scarcely finish up and smooth the earth as I gave it the last little pat. I found myself saying a little eulogy. Forgive me, Gloria. I didn't mean to do it. But at least I saved you from a life of sin. Poor Aunt Minerva. She was so concerned about me that she had something very special waiting for me when I got back to the house.
A nice glass of dandelion wine. Sip it slowly, Hugo.
Yes, Auntie.
Oh, you mustn't take on so. Poor gentle boy. All pussycats have to die sooner or later. Oh, what did you say she died of?
She had some throat trouble.
What did the veterinarian say it was?
Oh, she died before I could get her to the vet.
I'll bet it was a hairball.
Yes.
It can happen, when you're not around. Awful thing is, probably the poor little darling just got strangled to death.
I guess you might say that's exactly what happened. During the 3 or 4 days I convalesced at my apartment, trying to shake the shakes, I'd sit long hours looking at my portrait of Gloria. It was the first oil I'd ever painted. More and more I became obsessed with incredible truth. I had lifted this girl from the filth and squalor of her professional life and given her an eternal life on canvas in which she would be forever beautiful and good. I had actually done her a favor.
The trouble with murder is threefold. First, that driven to a rage blinding enough, anyone is capable of it. Second, that it is irrevocable. Once done, it can't be undone. And third, well, we'll consider that with Hugo when we return shortly with Act 3. Where were we? Oh, yes. The third trouble with murder. One that Hugo will discover for himself as our tale continues. The fact that having once committed it and gotten away with it, it becomes easier to do it again. It's like learning to play a tune on the piano, save for one thing. Practice doesn't always make perfect. If only he could have let well enough alone.
So, how come the favorite nephew is not making his usual visit the past 2 weeks, Minerva?
Oh, he isn't my favorite. He's my only. Well, to tell you the truth...
Pick up the cards.
I'm afraid he's been through an unfortunate love affair.
You mean his cat dying like that?
Oh, that upset him, of course. He's a very sensitive boy. But I'm afraid it's more than that.
My trick. So I will melt. Marriage in diamonds.
Marriage. I think that's just what Hugo had in mind. But apparently she jilted him.
So maybe they're both lucky. Ask me. Marriage. It could be a fate worse than death. Are you sure she's out of the picture?
Oh, yes. Hugo said she just disappeared into thin air.
A head just can't disappear into thin air, Tony. Get as many men as you need, start fanning out from there inland and up and downstream, and look for that head. We gotta find it.
Lieutenant, the body is in the river maybe 2 weeks. It's too late. Have a heart.
What I got running a precinct is an ulcer. Now, I want to make on that body because I got a lousy hunch.
What's that, Lieutenant?
That this guy could turn out to be a repeater. Just let him get away with it once. They might be tempted to try again.
After Gloria, at first I was so sick at what I'd done that I had to take a few days off from the studio. My hands would shake so much at work. I couldn't control them. But then lying in my room, looking up at my portrait of Gloria, looking so pure and chaste and like the Song of Solomon, I began to realize that I had a call. Gloria would remain forever captured in oils, innocent, immortal. I had torn her from the arms of the devil, and there were other women, girls, misguided children who needed me as I needed them. For now my whole life was painting.
Lieutenant Flagg. What? Another one? Oh, I knew it. I could feel it in my bones. Huh? No identification. Figures. This guy's a regular Bluebeard.
I was a saver of souls, an instrument of immortality, and so my gallery grew to 4, and my fear was all gone. It was all for their sakes. My lovely, purified girls who smiled down on me from the walls and whose remains floated in the river and fertilized my beloved Auntie's roses.
Come in.
Hey, you was looking for me, Lieutenant?
Come in and close the door.
Yes, sir. What's the action, Lieutenant?
I've been looking over the file on the Brooklyn headhunter. I don't like the going over we're getting from the press, especially after the last torso turned up.
Well, how are you going to distinguish the perpetrator when we are unable to uncover the identification of the victims due to the decapitations?
You should have been an actor. Now, look. Sergeant Harkins is having Central File pull the dope on every missing dame in the last year that's anywhere near the age and weight of this last torso we fished out. We struck out on the first 3, but we've got a slim chance of getting a make on the 4th.
Yeah.
The mole on her foot and that appendix scar. Now, you are going to check personally with everyone connected with any missing dame reported in the last year, and you better find one with both those marks. I want this case closed before another one turns up.
It had been a year since it all began. I felt I had done my work, and besides, Auntie was getting more and more upset about the overcrowding in her pet cemetery. Perhaps, I thought, as I started to fall asleep, enough was enough. And yet, there was that one empty wall. As I drifted away, I could feel the tug of the call again.
Hey, mister.
Don't move, please.
I'm getting stiff. Can I have a smoke?
No. You're almost finished.
Oh, you ain't kidding. This is the coldest trick I ever turned. I must have been out of my skull when I agreed to do it.
You don't realize how fortunate you are.
Oh, yeah?
Yes, that I found you. That I'm about to lift you up.
I think you're real kinky. Hey, come on, huh? How about letting me take a break for a smoke, huh?
You don't need any breaks. It's finished.
Oh, you mean I put my clothes on?
No, come here first. I want you to look at yourself.
Hey. Not bad, You made me look pretty good.
That was the object.
You gonna hang me with all the other babes?
Yes, I'm going to hang you when you're ready.
What do you mean?
We are members of 2 of the oldest professions in the world. Yours much older than mine, but very different.
Yeah.
I have a call to higher things, but you sold your soul to the devil.
Now, hey, wait a minute now.
But have no fear. I have been appointed to save your soul, as I save these others, to make you immortal.
I told Archie you were some kind of a weirdo. Now, you keep away from me.
I can't. It's too late. You've been chosen.
Hey, lay off, will you? Don't get excited. Now, don't lose your head.
Not me. You're going to lose yours.
No! Ah!
Hey, this time, Lieutenant, we got him.
Got who?
The perpetrator, the headhunter, the guy...
Okay, I know who you're talking about. Now, what do you mean?
Well, the body we pulled out this morning, we got a fingerprint match. Here she is. Name's Flossie Henderson. She's a prossy.
Well, it's a start.
Now, wait a minute. You don't know the rest. I pinned down a Duke, a real fancy man, and I get the word from him she was posing last night for some artist named of Hugo Mintner. I got his address right here.
Tony, you're going to make second grade for this.
We going to pick him up right now?
With one stop on the way for a warrant.
Just a minute. I'm coming. Oh, who is it?
It's Hugo, Auntie.
Oh, goodness me. So early in the week. Just a minute, dear. Well, I'm sorry to keep you waiting, dear, but one can't be too careful these days about opening... Oh, dear me, not another one, Hugo.
I'm afraid so, Auntie.
But you just buried the... Oh, look out for Rosebud. Close the door before he gets... Oh, my, he's gone. Hugo, you'll just have to go after him and catch him.
But, Auntie, I can't...
If you expect me to help take care of your pet, you'll have to help me with mine. Now, I'll just take the carrier and you go bring back Rosebud.
Well, he isn't anywheres in the apartment. He's taking a powder for sure.
Oh, no. We can't be this close and let him get away.
And you learn anything more from the super?
No, but this is our man, all right. Look.
Hey, yeah. How about those chicks, huh?
Concentrate on the faces. The one where the paint's still wet, that's Flossie, all right.
Yeah. And I recognize at least two of the others from photos in the file. Real lifelike, ain't they?
On the canvas, maybe. They were dead enough when we hauled them out of the river. Hello, headquarters, Lieutenant Flagg, 43rd Precinct. I want an APB on the wire immediately for a Hugo Mintner. Male, Caucasian, height 5'6", slight build, mouse brown hair, blue eyes, weight 150. Warn all arresting officers this man is a dangerous maniac and should be approached with extreme caution.
You ought to get rid of that cat. He's dangerous, Auntie. He bit me.
I'm not surprised under the circumstances.
What circumstances?
I am very displeased with you, Hugo. I might even say shocked. While you were gone, I looked into this.
Oh. You shouldn't have done that.
Oh, nonsense. It's my cat carrier that I lent you. But certainly not for transporting foreign objects. And worse still, to think that you planted them in my rose garden.
You shouldn't have looked into it. Now I'm going to have to kill you.
Oh, nonsense. There's been quite enough of that already.
Well, what am I going to do?
We are going to sit down and have a nice long talk so that I can find out what this is all about.
And I really didn't mean any harm, Auntie. It just came over me in waves, and I felt I had a mission. I had a call to save these women from themselves, to lift them up and wash them clean, make sure they would be saved forever from the burning fires of hell.
So sensitive. You always were. Such a romantic. Tilting at windmills like Don Quixote. Pure in heart. If not exactly in deed.
But what am I going to do now?
Oh, well, that's perfectly simple. You're going to march right over to the police and make your confession.
Oh, no, they won't listen to me. They never do. That's what started it, sort of, in the beginning. They won't listen to my complaints.
Well, perhaps now the shoe is on the other foot, you'll get a little more attention. Take this box with you and hurry along. I don't like to think of you getting caught in the rush hour.
Without a picture, there isn't much hope for the APB, but with the apartment staked out, Well, look who's here. You have another complaint, citizen?
Well, not exactly.
Do me a favor. Don't burden me. I got a lot on my mind.
So have I, and I want to get it off.
Look, what was your name again?
Hugo Mintner. And I want to show you something.
I am telling you that I haven't got the time to... Hugo Mintner? I knew that name was familiar. You're Hugo Mintner?
That's right.
And what was it you wanted to complain about this time?
Oh, nothing. if you just listen.
Oh, I'm gonna listen, all right.
Well, that's better. I want to confess a crime. Several, in fact. 5, to be precise. My aunt said I ought to come in and tell you I've been a very naughty boy. I'm really quite happy here. The food is passable, and they leave me alone, which I like. Of course, they don't allow me models, but I've taken up finger painting, and I'm getting very, very good at abstractions. The only thing I really miss is my Friday visits to Aunt Minerva. You know, I wonder if she misses me.
I got the cards, Minerva.
In a minute, Bernice.
What are you looking at out the window?
Nothing, really.
It's Hugo. You miss him?
Just on Fridays.
How is it with him up on that farm there?
He seems quite happy. He writes very sweet letters.
That's nice.
Well, let's play. Now, what are you staring at?
Oh, I was just looking at your rose garden. God forbid I should mention it, but I never saw roses more beautiful. You don't suppose...
Bernice, shut up and deal.
Of course, Hugo was stark, staring mad. But, as he said, he meant well. It just seems a pity that he wasn't the only one to lose his head. I'll be back shortly. Hugo's portraits, while of dubious artistic value, due to the unavoidable publicity over the case, fetched an amazing price at auction. Aunt Minerva's first notion was to divide the money 5 ways and make some restitution to the girl's nearest relatives. But since the only claimants were some rather fancy gentlemen who all drove lilac or champagne luxury cars, she changed her mind and endowed a shelter for homeless cats. The animal variety, that is. Our cast included Robert Morse, Bryna Rayburn, Evie Juster, Jackson Beck, and Ian Martin. The entire production was under the direction of Hyman Brown. Now, a preview of our next tale.
Hey, what the...
Keep your voice down, Ron.
Fran, you're soaked to the skin, drenched.
I pretended I wanted to heat up the coffee, but I really wanted to get to you. I went out the kitchen door and came around to this window. Ronnie, what's the trouble?
He's holding me for ransom.
Ransom?
He wants $100,000.
$100,000?
My father is Garrett Prentice, the millionaire.
Oh, I've heard of him, yes.
Phil Carrington, if that's his name, phoned my father yesterday. The money is on the way, but what worries me is I'm sure Carrington's going to kill me once he gets it.
But if he gets the ransom money...
I don't think it'll make any difference. He knows I can identify him, so he hasn't much choice. He has to kill me. You and your husband, too.
Yes. We could identify him.
You've got to do something. We've got to do something.
But what?
Radio Mystery Theater was sponsored in part by Contact, the 12-hour cold capsule. This is E.G. Marshall inviting you to return to our Mystery Theater for another adventure in the macabre. Until next time, pleasant dreams. Come in. Welcome. I'm E.G. Marshall. Of all the sounds in the universe, perhaps nothing stirs the imagination more deeply than the sounds of the sea. People who have never crossed an ocean can still be transported in a walk along the beach, skirting the lapping tides, or standing high on the rocks with the waves crashing below. There's an eerie quality about the sea, and it conjures strange visions in any mind that is ready to receive them. Our story concerns the spell cast by the sea.
Where is your son, Mrs. Desmond?
Why, he's in bed, and I hope fast asleep.
You hear that?
Yes. Foghorn is a lonely sound.
It's a lonely sound for women like you and me.
Stop trying to frighten me.
There's still plenty of time.
Time for what?
To take your son away from here. Take him away and guard him with your life.
Our mystery drama, What Happened to Mrs. Forbush, was written especially for the Mystery Theater by Elizabeth Pennell and stars Patricia Wheel and Gordon Gould. It is sponsored in part by Buick Motor Division and Anheuser-Busch Incorporated, Brewers of Budweiser. I'll be back shortly with Act One. This story takes place at Captain's Cove on the shores of New England. Bert and Marjorie Desmond are inspecting a picturesque old house on a bluff overlooking the sea. They're city people, and in the past they have spent their vacations at mountain resorts or in dry desert places considered beneficial for the health of their son. But this year it's different, and they're getting more intrigued by the minute as Mr. Smith, the rental agent, shows them around.
Oh, Bert, the view and the window seat. I haven't seen one like this since my grandmother's house when I was a child.
I'm more interested in all these carved pieces over here. What do you call this stuff?
Scrimshaw.
Oh, yes. The things sailors made when they had time on their hands.
Old Captain had quite a collection. Most of it's over to the museum.
What can you tell me about this ship model? A schooner, isn't it?
Yeah, that'd be Captain Forbush's ship, Desdemona. Sank, with all hands aboard.
Oh, Mr. Smith, is that an island I see way out there?
Nope, that's Dead Man's Rock.
Oh, what a gruesome name. Was it the scene of a shipwreck?
I understand some fella got murdered on that rock. Don't rightly know the circumstances, but there is an island further on out, known as Hiram's Hideaway. Said to be the place old Captain Forbush took himself off to when he wanted to get away from his wife. Good fishing.
I'll have to look into that.
Oh, but are you sure we really want to take this house?
Let's see the rest of it.
There's a fine old staircase.
Beautiful railing. But I don't think it's been dusted in years.
This house has been closed up most of the time. That's why it's such a bargain.
Is there anything wrong with it?
Nope. Tight as a drum. And a real historic monument. Now, you take this room.
Oh, it's wonderful. I've never slept in a four-poster bed.
Oh, boy, it's a big one, too.
And this door leads to a veranda.
Oh, my. This porch goes all the way around the house.
It always does in a captain's place of residence. A trademark, you might say.
Why, sure. This is what you call a widow's walk.
No doubt Miss Forbush did her share of pacing when the captain was away.
Well, no pacing for me, thank you. My husband has a desk job. What do you think, Bert?
About the house?
Yes. In a strange way, I've fallen in love with it. But I'm wondering...
Wonder no more. We're going right into that room I already call my study and sign a lease for the summer.
Bert.
Glad you've come to life. You haven't said a word since we left the cove. I thought you were asleep.
No. I've been thinking and worrying
Worrying?
about Robbie.
Robbie? I can hardly wait to get his reaction when he sees where he's going to spend the summer.
Bert, maybe we've made a mistake.
Oh, you're kidding.
No. That long, deserted beach and those rocks, it's a dangerous place for a boy.
He'll have a ball.
But it's not like any place we've ever stayed before. Have you forgotten how much of Robbie's life he's had to spend in bed?
I haven't forgotten. But that's all over. The doctor said so. He said it was time Robbie started doing the things boys his age like to do.
Not dangerous things. Bert, we're going to spend 3 months by the ocean.
You bet we are. And the sea air will be good for all of us.
Only, Bert, Robbie's never learned to swim.
Well, Robbie, what do you think of it?
Oh, man. This house is twice as good as you thought it was.
I didn't remember it was so musty. The place needs airing. I'm going to open some windows.
Dad, who's the old guy in the picture?
Why, that must be Hiram Forbush, the sea captain who built this house.
He sure has a lot of red whiskers.
He sure does. You know, they knew how to paint pictures back in those days. Watch this, Rob. Walk over here and see how his eyes follow you. Sort of as though he was looking at everything you did.
It's spooky. You think he's a ghost?
Oh, come on, son. You don't believe in ghosts, do you?
No.
Well, I'll let you in on a secret. I think your mother does.
Mom believes in ghosts.
Sometimes.
Oh, Pop.
What's all this about ghosts?
I'm teaching Rob to be the man of the house, so he can look after you when I'm gone.
Hey, I want to go to the beach.
Well, you can if your father goes with you.
Not right now. I have some things to do.
I'd go, only it's time to think about getting dinner ready.
I can go alone.
Sure you can.
Oh, no, Bert, not the first time.
First time for everything. And speaking of first times, how about that?
It's so strange to hear a telephone in a house like this.
Glad there have been some improvements since the captain's day. Guess I better find out who it is.
Pop said I could go to the beach.
Now, Robbie, I want you to be very, very careful. Follow that little path and watch your step climbing down the bluff.
Mom, I'm not a baby.
And don't stay away too long. Do you have your jacket?
Oh, Mom.
I'll be watching you from this window.
Damn.
Why, what's the matter?
That phone call from the office. Wouldn't you know they're having a crisis and they want me back?
Oh, no, Bert, we just got here. You're on your vacation.
Won't be gone long. Just for the day to help get things straightened out.
Oh, but it's a 4-hour trip.
I know. I'll have to start very early tomorrow morning. And I guess I better spend tomorrow night in the city.
But you promised that first thing tomorrow you'd see about swimming lessons for Robbie. It was a part of our bargain.
I know, honey, but it's just a matter of putting it off for a day.
Oh, you've said that before.
As soon as I get back, we'll go over to the beach club and make arrangements for swimming lessons. And we'll meet some people so that you'll know the neighbors, and Robbie will have someone to play with.
Robbie, dear, what were you doing on those big rocks today?
Just throwing stones in the water. Mom, I can make them skip real good.
I thought I'd asked you not to climb on those rocks unless someone was with you.
I only climbed a little way.
Well, no more climbing, young man, until your father gets back.
But he's been gone for 3 whole days.
Well, he's coming tomorrow. And we're going to let him know how well we've been getting along. Go to sleep now. I'm going out on the porch to watch the moon come up.
Mommy, you promised to open the window very wide so I can hear the sound of the water?
Yes, dear. The weather's changing. I can scarcely see the beam of the lighthouse. It's getting all misty. And don't be frightened if you hear the foghorn.
I like that sound. Night.
Good night, dear. Good evening. Is someone there?
I always stroll the veranda on a foggy evening.
Well, there is someone.
Who are you? I am Lavinia Forbush, and I presume you are the lady who is staying in my house?
Why, I guess it was your house. Only I'm staying here now. My name is Marjorie Desmond.
Didn't they tell you, Mrs. Desmond, that I never left this house? It belongs to me.
Belonged to you, Mrs. Forbush. Now it belongs to a man who lives in Boston.
Ah, he thinks he owns it. No one will ever take my place in this house. Come, let's walk this way. Ah, the fog is creeping over Dead Man's Rock. Just the way it was that night.
No, I'm getting rather cold. I think I'll go inside.
Poor soul, you need a fine shawl like mine to keep you warm.
It looks like a lovely old paisley. Won't you come inside where it's warm? We could have a cup of tea.
No, indeed, Mrs. Desmond. I only set foot in my house when it becomes necessary to get something I want. I'll stay right here where I always stay, keeping my vigil.
But the fog is closing in. Really, Mrs. Forbush, I must go in.
Oh, how thoughtless of me. The damp night air must have chilled you to the bone. Here, let me put my shawl around your shoulders.
What about you?
Oh, I no longer feel the cold as I once did. My, it is grand to have a woman to talk to once more. Mrs. Desmond, my captain was a bold and adventurous man. He brought me precious gems from India, from Persia, and from China. Oh, dear Mrs. Desmond, you must not make my mistake. You must take your most cherished possessions and leave my house.
Oh, but I have no jewels, Mrs. Forbush.
Oh, dear lady, you have the greatest jewel of all, a son. How old is your boy, Mrs. Desmond?
Robbie's 9.5.
Just the age of my Jason. A most dangerous age.
I know. I worry about him.
And well, you might. What happened to me is history. And history has a way of repeating.
Really, I don't think I want it.
You will listen to me.
Please.
My Jason, oh, he was a strapping lad who helped me with the chores around the house. And when Hiram's ship was in, the boy spent hours talking to the sailors, learning how to tie knots and carve those intricate things from bone and bits of wood.
My Robbie would like that.
And then one day, when Jason was 9 years old, his father came to me and said, I'm taking the boy on a journey. It is time he began to learn the ways of men.
Why, Bert said something like...
Too soon, I said, too soon. But my Hiram was a very determined man, and when he made up his mind, there was no stopping him. It's only a short journey, he told me. We are taking the Desdemona to the Caribbees, and Jason will go with me. I watched through the spyglass until the ship was far enough at sea to hoist the big sail which caught the wind. You do know what happened, don't you, Mrs. Desmond?
Don't tell me any more.
I must, if you would save your boy. Late that evening, the fog closed in the way it has now. And then began the long days and the lonely nights. Where is your son, Mrs. Desmond?
Why, he's in bed, and I hope fast asleep.
You hear that?
Yes. Foghorn is a lonely sound.
It's a lonely sound for women like you and me when we've lost.
Stop trying to frighten me.
There's still plenty of time.
For what?
To take your son away from here. Take him away and guard him with your life.
A foghorn is a lonely sound, and a ghost-ridden house by the sea is an unsettling place for a woman who is worried about her son. Perhaps in the light of day, when her husband returns, Marjorie will be able to shake her fears. On the other hand, suppose Mrs. Forbush is really trying to tell her something. We'll find out more shortly when I return with Act 2. If you're afraid of what the future has in store, perhaps you look to the past for guidance. But Marjorie Desmond has had a strange encounter with the past, which only bolsters the fears she already has for her son. Is it possible that a ghostly presence from a former time can prevent or promote an impending disaster? Marjorie's husband has returned from his business trip, and we'll soon find out how he feels about what's going on.
Bert, it's so good to have you back.
Way longer than I expected. But I've only been gone a few days. Same old thing. You should be used to it by now.
But this time it was different. I mean, this place...
Well, now, tell me what you and Robbie have been up to.
Bert, I want to show you something.
Hey, where did you get that paisley shawl? I like it.
So do I. It has such nice mellow colors.
Where did you find it? In the old captain's sea chest?
No. It was given to me.
Well, that's a nice gift. Who's been around while I was gone?
You're not going to believe this.
Well, let me guess. It was given to you, only it wasn't really a present. You had to pay some enormous sum for it, and now you're afraid to tell me how much it cost.
No, Bert. And I know you won't believe me.
I won't believe you if you say Captain Forbush came to the door and said, "My dear Mrs. Desmond, please let me in. I've returned from a long and tiresome journey, and it would please me very much if you would cook up some bacon and eggs."
No, Bert. It wasn't Captain Forbush.
I'm happy to hear that.
It was Mrs. Forbush.
What?
You're going to laugh. I know you won't understand, and I didn't either, only it happened.
For heaven's sake, Marge, what happened?
It was a foggy night.
You sure? Spooks always come out on foggy nights. Now tell me, where did you really get that shawl?
I got it from Mrs. Forbush.
Oh, let's not play games. I'm tired.
She was there.
She was where?
On the widow's
Oh,
court.
cut it out.
I talked to her, and she told me what happened to her husband.
Sure. Mr. Smith told us that. The captain was lost at sea.
But Jason...
Oh, who in heck is Jason?
Their son.
Oh, Marge, will you please talk sense? Now, where did you get that shawl?
I told you from Mrs. Forbush last night when we had a long talk.
Now, I've heard everything. Okay, it's a joke. And I do think it's pretty funny. We're living in a haunted house, so let's enjoy it. If you don't want to tell me where you found that thing, okay. I'll play your game. At least until tomorrow.
Don't you want to hear what she had to say?
I don't want to hear any more of this crazy story. Come to bed. And tomorrow we'll have a great big laugh over this whole thing. And maybe you'll remember where you really found that shawl.
That was the best picnic we ever had. Can we do it again tomorrow?
Well, not every day, Rob. Maybe tomorrow we'll go to the beach club.
I thought I might do some fishing.
Dad, can I go fishing with you?
Maybe we'll all go. How about it, Marge?
Count me out. You know how I feel.
I know. You like to eat the poor little critters, but it's cruel to catch them on those nasty hooks.
Well, it is.
Robbie and I may just go off and forget to come home.
Take your son away from here. Take him away and guard him with your life.
Well, honey, what's the matter? You look as if you'd seen a...
It's nothing, Bert, nothing. I just have to be alone for a minute.
Hey, Dad, what are all these things over here on the shelf?
That's called scrimshaw, Rob.
Scrim?
These are things that were made by sailors a long time ago. When they were on those sailing ships and the sea was calm, they didn't have much to do. So they carved pieces of bone or wood and painted shells.
How bet I could do that?
You'd have to learn how to use a knife.
Would you teach me, Dad?
It's bedtime, young man. Up the stairs.
If I was on a boat, I wouldn't be going up any old stairs.
I suppose you'd be climbing the ropes.
Or walking the gangplank.
No, I asked that fisherman today where he slept, and he said down below.
Unless you want to sleep in the cellar, the direction is up. Get going.
Aye, Captain.
Nice day today, Marge. And I don't know when I've seen Robbie so happy.
Oh, he's certainly having a good time. And tomorrow when we go to the beach club, we can make arrangements to have him start taking swimming lessons.
I'm not sure they have regular classes.
Then we'll get him a private instructor.
Marjorie, I am perfectly capable of teaching him myself. I won a medal in college, remember?
Well, of course you're a good swimmer, Bert. And I thought... Oh, I suppose if Robbie had been well, you would have taught him long ago. But don't you think he'd learn more quickly now if an outside...
Hey, there's nothing wrong with his old man, is there, Marge?
I have to finish up the dishes. Let's talk about it when I'm through.
Robbie? Don't be frightened. I want to talk to you. No, I'm the lady who lives here. My name is Mrs. Forbush.
Say, do you know the man with the red whiskers?
He is my husband.
Maybe you could tell me about that boat on the shelf downstairs and all those other things.
That ship was one of the proudest vessels to sail the seven seas, and Captain Forbush himself made that model.
Do you think it would sink if I tried to sail it?
Oh, you must never, never try.
Oh, my dad won't let me even touch that boat with the sails. But I can play with the other things. You know, the bones and the shells.
I know. And I brought you one that was a favorite of my son. He was just about your age. Now, do you have a candle I can light?
There is one over there in the bureau, but I could just turn on his light.
No need to waste electricity. I never had it in this house.
That doesn't look like a match to me.
A tinder box. Best thing in the world for striking a light. There. Now, Robbie, what do you think of this?
Wow. What a big shell.
This is for you, Robbie. To keep for Jason while he is away.
Where's he gone?
I'm hoping you will help me find him.
Oh, I'll be glad to help you. Because if he was here, we could climb the rocks together and explore that pirate's cave.
We'll look for him, Robbie. We'll look for him together. So now, if you will come with me...
I couldn't go anywhere without asking permission.
But this is my house, and I am giving you permission.
But I still couldn't go without asking.
Quickly, boy. Come on. Put on your clothes.
Mom! Mom! Dad!
What is it, Rob?
Why, Robbie, what are you doing with a candle burning? You know how dangerous...
I didn't light it, Mom. You tell them, Mrs.
Where is she?
Where's who?
That lady, Mrs. Forbush, she was standing right there.
Oh, good Lord, not in here.
Rob, there's no one else in this room. You've been having a dream.
No, Dad. Honest, she was here. Look what she gave me.
Not you, too. Say, that's a very interesting shell. So where did you find it?
Dad, I didn't find it. Mrs. Forbush said it belonged to her son, and I could borrow it until he comes back.
That's a likely story. You can make up a better one than that.
But that's exactly what she said. I'm going to help her find him. And when he's here, we can play together down on the beach.
No, Robbie, dear, that's not possible.
You're both being impossible.
But the trouble is, we have to find Jason.
Oh, stop it, Robbie. I won't hear any more about this Jason. Rob, you've had a dream. It seems very real. But now it's over. And tomorrow you'll have forgotten all about it.
But, Bert, what about the candle and the shell?
Well, there must be some reasonable explanation. But let's not think about it now. I'm blowing the candle out, and Robbie's going to sleep. Good night, son. You've been playing a joke on me, and I'll admit it's been a good one. You were very clever to get Robbie to go along with you. And I must say, he played his part well. But I can think of better games for a boy his age.
This was no game, Bert.
You didn't coach him to put on that act?
Of course I didn't.
Well, if it was a nightmare and he dreamed all those things about Mrs. Forbush and her mythical son, it was only because you filled his imagination full of stories.
I have never mentioned either Mrs. Forbush or Jason to Robbie.
Then there's a book about them somewhere around the house.
Well, if there is, I haven't seen it.
You must have had one of those imaginary conversations out loud, the way you do sometimes. And Robbie overheard you when you thought he was asleep.
Oh, Bert, I don't do that anymore, and I don't see how he could possibly have been listening the night I talked to Mrs. Forbush.
Marge, there is no Mrs. Forbush.
How would you know? You weren't here.
Honey, we're taking this whole thing too seriously. Mrs. Forbush lived nearly 200 years ago, so she can't be hanging around here now.
I suppose you're right.
That's my girl. Give us a smile.
Well, I'm trying.
Now repeat after me. No more conversations with Mrs. Forbush.
No more conversations with Lavinia Forbush.
Where'd you get that kooky first name?
Well, she told me.
Okay. No more conversations with Lavinia Forbush.
And what will we tell Robbie?
Hey, Mom, look what Dad bought me. He's teaching me how to catch fish.
Oh, well, it looks as though you bought out the store. But did you get my groceries?
Yep, groceries are all right here. But hold off on the steak. We just may come back with something very special for the frying pan.
Look, Mom, my very own rod. Did you ever see one of these? This is a reel.
Yes, dear. It looks like a very nice reel. Where will you use it? Down at the wharf?
Nope. We're going to get Rob off to a really good start. I've rented a boat.
What kind of boat?
Oh, just a putt-putt. You know, one of those flat-bottom jobs with an outboard motor.
But you aren't going out to sea.
Sure. Well, look at it, Marge. Smooth as glass.
What do you know about the tides and the currents?
Marge, we aren't planning a trip to China.
Where are you going?
To that island. It's so clear today, you can see it from here. Don't you worry about a thing. See? I bought him a life jacket, and he's going to wear it every minute of the time. We promise, don't we, Rob?
Sure, Pop.
Promise me you won't go far?
I told you, we're only going out to that island. Well, Mr. Smith said the fishing is good. What did he say the island's called?
Hiram's Hideaway.
Oh, yeah. Sorry I asked.
Have a good time.
If you stand on the porch with the binoculars, you can watch us most of the way.
Well, Mrs. Desmond, I'm sorry you did not heed my warning. Oh, no, please don't come back. I've not been away. But I don't want to talk to you. It was bad enough that you upset me, but you had no right to bother my son. It was you who interfered, Mrs. Desmond. You and your husband. You spoiled it all. I was trying to save your son before this happened. Nothing has happened, Mrs. Forbush, and I won't let you alarm me anymore. But you are alarmed, Mrs. Desmond, and well, you might be. Why did you let him go? See? They're already out of sight. And if you don't act quickly, you'll never see either your husband or your son again.
This time it seems more likely that the predictions of the ghostly Mrs. Forbush may come true. Marjorie is a worrier, but after all, Bert is not a seasoned sailor. And Robbie can't swim. No, they're not setting off for China, but they are tempting fate. And it's too late to turn back now. I'll return shortly with Act 3.
This is WBBM Chicago.
It is a calm and beautiful day at Captain's Cove, and it looks as though the fears of Marjorie Desmond were totally unfounded. Father and son have explored the island. A whole new world has opened up for a boy who has been housebound much of his life. And Bert is savoring the joys of feeling a new closeness to his son. It is late afternoon, and they are heading back reluctantly to the mainland.
Hey, Dad, can we do this every day? I'm going to catch a bigger one next time.
For a first try, you did very well. Maybe we can go deep sea fishing someday.
Maybe tomorrow. Great.
Hey, we're doing all right with these smaller fellows. Flounder's good eating. You'll see.
Bet Mom will be surprised. We caught 1, 2, 3, 4. Hey, Dad, remember what you promised about that rock?
Oh, it's late, Rob. I think we better not.
But you promised, Dad. Honest, it'll only take a minute.
Well, I'm not sure I can get right up to the rock. The water's starting to get a bit choppy. Where was it you saw that piece of driftwood you wanted?
Up there, see? Looks just like a couple of deer's horns.
Otherwise known as antlers.
Only I'm going to turn it into whatever that other word is. Brim, you know. Hey, stop the the boat, Dad. It's right up there.
I can't just stop the boat, Rob. There's no place to anchor.
I could almost reach it if I stood on the seat.
Get down, young man.
Oh.
Now, what did I tell you? There's a tricky tide around here. He'll come back some other time.
Oh, but Dad, that piece of wood will be gone. Sometimes the waves go all over those rocks. I'll never find a piece like that one.
Oh. I'll try again. It's calmer over on this side.
Slow down some more, Dad.
But there's no way to come in.
Like that flat place on the rock. You slow way down, and then I'll jump off and get it.
Is your life jacket on tight?
Sure, Dad.
Okay, then. Be very, very careful. I'll idle the motor while you jump off. Grab your piece of driftwood and jump right back.
Here I go.
Uh-oh. The motor's died, and the boat's drifting. You stay right there, Rob, while I get it started.
Yes. I want to speak to someone at the boathouse down by the pier. The place where you rent boats to go fishing. Hello? Hello, this is Mrs. Desmond. My husband and son, are they there? No, they rented a boat from you this morning to go to the island. Well, I expected them back long before this, and I was afraid something might have happened. Well, I know it isn't late, but it is beginning to look stormy, and I can't see the island anymore. Could you send someone out to look for them? Coast Guard Patrol? How do I reach them? No, thank you. I'll go to their station down on the beach. No use going to the Coast Guard station, Mrs. Desmond. They've taken the cutter and gone in the other direction. But Bert and Rob, I'm afraid they're in trouble. They are in trouble, Mrs. Desmond. Out by Dead Man's Rock. And we must send someone after them. No one to send, unless we do it ourselves. How can we? I've done it before. And if the two of us pull together... What are you talking about? The rowboat over there. Can you handle an oar? Well, once I knew how to row. I'm not sure that I... Hurry, Mrs. Desmond. Before the storm sets in, I'm aboard. Oh, well, an old boatway. It's half full of water. No time to be choosy. You fit this oar in the lock while I shove off with the other one. There's a hole in the bottom of this boat, Mrs. Forbush. This is madness. We'll never make it. Pull, Mrs. Desmond. Pull. Sea is getting rough. Aye. A storm is brewing. We must turn back. Too late, Mrs. Desmond. Too late. We must fulfill our mission. That rock seems further and further away. Oh, Mrs. Desmond. Oh, your oar. It's no use, Mrs. Forbush. We're going to stay away from that warning bell. The boat is sinking, Mrs. Forbush. It's going straight to the bottom. We'll have to swim for it. Swim for the boy. Save yourself, Mrs. Desmond. I don't know how to swim. I've got hold of it. Mrs. Forbush. Mrs. Forbush. Help! Help!
Until I can get closer. I can't seem to get this darn motor started.
Hello?
Who are you?
Hiram Forbush. At your service.
Captain Forbush?
Are you in difficulty?
I can't seem to get this stupid motor started.
Give me wind and sails any time.
But they're not going to help me now. My son and I...
That's your boy over yonder?
Yes. I should never have let him off on the rock.
Dead Man's Rock's a dangerous place to be. But one of my men will get him.
I'll be very grateful for anything you can do. We have to get home. Couldn't you put us ashore in a rowboat?
Can't spare the men to take down a longboat, and my only rowboat was most rotted away. So I left it back on the beach.
Oh, there must be some way. I'll pay you very well.
All the money I want is out where we're going, and we can't stay around here any longer. So climb aboard and...
No, I'll take my boy back in this boat, and someone else will come along, or they'll send the Coast Guard to look for us.
You won't last long in that thing. There's a storm coming up.
Then please, send up some kind of a signal, a flare, a rocket,
Shoot off a cannon and rouse the whole town. No need for that. We're not in any trouble.
But we are. My son and I. You know how it is. I believe you have a son.
I always wanted a son. Fine boy, this one. Just the right age for a first trip before the mast. Well, I'm giving you your last chance.
Cousin Forbush, let's be sensible. I have obligations to meet.
Sounds to me as though you have a guilty conscience. Lively with the sheets, men. She's coming about. Up with the sails and dead ahead.
Come around to the side, Rob, and jump!
Daddy, I'm scared!
Jump, Rob! Jump! That's it, Rob! Hey, dog paddle! The jacket will hold you up. Here, son. Grab my fishing pole.
I got it!
Good boy. Hang on. That's it. Now, get hold of the side of the boat. Yeah.
Dad, I lost my stick!
Oh, forget it. Easy now. I got you. Are you all right?
I'm okay, Dad. Boy, can you see what I was doing? I was swimming.
Not quite. Here, Rob. Here's some of these rags to dry off. I'm going to try this motor one more time.
No, you made it.
Everything's going to be all right.
Hey, Dad, think sometime we could get a sailboat?
I'd rather not think about this just now, Robbie. We've had a close call.
And then maybe we could sail off.
Robbie, no more. We're lucky.
Dad, I hear someone calling.
Well, let's not let our imagination get...
Help! Over there, Dad. By that thing standing up in the water.
Good Lord. There's someone clinging to the buoy. Marge, are you warm enough?
Never felt better.
Now, Marge, if you feel up to it, will you please tell us what in the name of heaven you were trying to do?
I started out in a rowboat.
That rickety old rowboat that was down on the beach?
Oh, yes. Did you know it was there? I hadn't seen it before.
That boat must have been 100 years old. Why did you...
I can't explain what was going on in my mind. Or at least you wouldn't understand. You see, I had this awful premonition that something terrible was going to happen to both of you, and that I must row out as far as that rock to save you. Well, the boat sank, and mercifully there was that buoy, and then you came along. Please don't ask me any more questions, because now that you're both safe, all those crazy notions I had are gone forever. But something did happen, didn't it, Bert?
Something happened, all right. We were starting back when the motor conked out. And you won't believe this, Marge, but suddenly everything was deathly still. And out of nowhere came this big old ship, like the one in the model over there. That's right, isn't it, Rob?
Oh, Dad.
And over the rail leaned that face with the cold blue eyes and the bristling red beard. None other than Captain Hiram Forbush.
Oh, you're being mean, Bert, but I guess I deserve this. Go on.
You don't believe me, do you, Marge? But I tell you, there he was, big as life. I begged him to take us back to shore, but he said he was heading for the Caribbees. He had Robbie up on the deck while I was trying to start the motor. And then that sailing ship started to take off. And I looked up, and that's when I yelled to Bobby to jump.
Hey, Dad, that's the best story I ever heard. Now can I tell Mom what really happened?
What really happened?
You see, Mom, it was like this. I saw this piece of wood like antlers on that big rock. And I wanted to make something out of it. You know, some of that scrim stuff. And I begged Dad to let me get it. So he slowed down the boat and I jumped off.
Oh, that was dangerous, Rob.
Well, it would have been all right, except the motor conked out and the boat was drifting away. So I had to jump in the water, or I'd still be on that rock. And, oh, Mom, I was scared. But I almost swam.
A swimming lesson for you tomorrow, Robbie. I promise.
Mom, you tell me something, please?
Yes, dear.
What happened to Mrs. Forbush?
Well, Robbie, why do you ask a question like that?
I've been worried about her. She drowned, didn't she?
Yes, Robbie. She drowned. But that was a long, long time ago.
What happened to Mrs. Forbush was not as important as what happened to the Desmonds. A possessive mother learned she must loosen the bonds with which she held her only child, or live in an ever-present nightmare of fear. And a self-centered father discovered that if he neglected his wife and son, he ran the risk of losing them. Such lessons are learned and sometimes forgotten in strange and frightening ways. I'll be back shortly. The ghost of Mrs. Forbush has been laid to rest. But the captain, since no trace of his ship was ever found, you may see the Desdemona sometime off in the mists on a foggy day. The sights and sounds of the restless ocean stir something deep within the soul. There are countless tales to be told of the sea. We'll look for some, to bring them along with other probings into those things which touch the dark and mysterious recesses of the human mind. Our cast included Patricia Wheel, Gordon Gould, Billy Lou Watt, Mary Jane Higby, and Guy Sorrell. The entire production was under the direction of Hyman Brown. Now, a preview of our next tale.
There's a test, Benny. A test that can determine whether or not there was ever blood in that knife of yours. Ever. Understand?
Yeah. So what?
Well, I intend to make that test in court tomorrow. If it's negative, the jury will know that you didn't kill Kenneth Archer.
Oh, I don't understand that kind of stuff.
I'm not asking you to understand. If you stab that man, a jug full of chemical is going to turn pink, and you can kiss your freedom goodbye. But there's something else. If you ever cut anybody with that knife, even yourself, that chemical will turn pink. So I want you to tell me now, was there ever blood on that knife?
No, it was brand new. I never cut nothing with it. I'm telling you the truth.
All right, Benny. We'll see how true it is. We'll give that knife a bath tomorrow. And God help us both if you lied to me.
Radio Mystery Theater was sponsored in part by Contact, the 12-hour cold capsule. This is E.G. Marshall inviting you to return to our Mystery Theater for another adventure in the macabre. Until next time, pleasant dreams. Come in. Welcome. I'm E.G. Marshall. Before you cross our threshold, perhaps I'd better warn you about something. If you can't stand the sight of blood, you may not want to hear our latest offering, because this is a story all about blood. Blood in its three variations of meaning. The blood ties of family loyalty, the blood of violent crime, and just plain human blood. Think you can take it? Very well. Then please come in, pick out a comfortable chair, and try not to be too squeamish when you hear things like this.
Benny, was there ever any blood on that knife?
Hey, you trying to trick me?
Answer the question.
I told you I didn't cut that guy.
Benny.
No, it was brand new. I never cut anything with it.
Are you sure? Absolutely sure. Not even your own finger.
No.
You can fool me, kid, but you can't fool a test tube.
Our mystery drama, Thicker Than Water, was written especially for the Mystery Theater by Henry Slessor and stars J. Gregory. It is sponsored in part by Buick Motor Division and Anheuser-Busch Incorporated, brewers of Budweiser. I'll be back shortly with Act One. You're listening to what some people think of as jungle noises. But in this case, the jungle is what they think our large metropolitan cities have become. Stalking places for predators who prowl the darkened streets, the foliage of our parks, the isolation booths of our elevators and hallways, looking for victims to satisfy their greed, their hunger, or their simple lust for blood. But the well-dressed man who walks down this particular dark and quiet street in a neighborhood of crumbling tenements and menacing shadows doesn't seem to be aware of lurking danger until danger stops lurking and strikes.
Hold it, mister.
What is this?
Oh, shut up. Shut up and hand it over. The wallet. Where's the wallet?
Here.
Give me that. And now, here's something for you. Help me. Somebody help me.
May I come in, boss?
Yes. Come on in, Olga.
Thanks. I didn't bring you any flowers, but from the looks of this room, you didn't need any.
I wish somebody would get them out of here. Place looks like a funeral home.
Well, is it all right to ask how you feel?
Go ahead and try.
How do you feel?
Don't ask.
Oh, I knew I'd fall for that old gag. No, seriously, Nick, how are you? You certainly look like your old self.
Yes, I'm my old self, Olga. With something extra. An 8-inch gash in my side.
Oh.
Fortunately, it wasn't very deep. They keep telling me I'll heal nicely. Whatever nicely means.
Oh, you poor man. Why did this have to happen to you?
Why not? People get mugged in nicer parts of town than the place I was at. I guess the police were right.
About what?
They asked me why I was dumb enough to be walking around that neighborhood like a fat cat at 11:30 at night. They say I was just begging for it.
Well, why were you there?
I told you. I had an appointment with Roy Otis. Talked to him about the Parsons case. I thought I could get him to drop the charges if I went to his home personally and reasoned with him. Funny thing is, I succeeded. I was feeling so pleased with myself that I didn't think about what I was doing.
So you walked right into the arms of the mugger. I don't know what I'm going to do with you, boss. I suppose you've seen the morning paper.
No, I haven't. Story in it?
Of course, the story's in it. And guess what they say?
I can imagine. Legal defender of muggers gets mugged. I'm sure they got a big kick out of that. Headline writers dig irony.
Well, they don't actually call you a defender of muggers, but you are sort of number one in the field, aren't you? Roy Otis, that Wilson boy, the Fredericks case.
I never meant to specialize. And I can tell you one thing. It'll be a long time before I go to court to defend some knife-wielding punk.
I knew you'd feel that way.
Can you blame me?
No, I guess I can't, but that isn't going to satisfy Mr. Bleecker.
Who?
Well, don't you remember all those phone messages I've been giving you for days from Mr. Arnold Bleecker?
Yes, I remember the name. I told you to tell the guy that I'm hardly in any position to take on a new case.
Well, from what you said about your condition, you will be going back to work soon, right?
Yeah, I'll be back at the old desk in a week, I guess.
Well, that's what I told Mr. Bleeker.
Olga, will you please explain that funny look on your face?
It's because Mr. Bleeker wants you to defend his son. He's desperate to have you defend him.
What's his son charged with?
Mugging, of course. What else? Mr. Wedge's office. Oh, yes, Mrs. Hamilton. How are you? No, he's in conference at the moment, but I think I know the answer to your question. The hearing will be held at the municipal court on the 27th. Oh, yes, of course. And Mr. Wedge will be talking to you before then. Yes, I'll tell him. Goodbye.
Good morning.
Oh, hello, Mr. Bleeker.
I guess you're not so happy to see me, are you, miss?
Well, it's not that, Mr. Bleeker. It's just that, well, that I've told you it won't do any good. Mr. Wedge simply isn't able to take any more clients at the moment.
Look, I gotta get a lawyer soon. I gotta have a lawyer right now. The judge told me either I get somebody or the court will appoint somebody.
Well, you could do a lot worse than a court-appointed attorney, Mr. Bleeker. Even Mr. Wedge does that sort of thing now and then.
He does?
Yes. Most criminal lawyers do. Without fees.
Well, then, let him do it now. For me, for my son. But I'll pay him. I'll pay him anything he wants.
Really, Mr. Bleeker, it isn't a matter of money.
Yeah, I know. You look at me, you see a poor man, but I'll pay. I'll get the money somehow.
Olga, do you still have the file out on the Frederick?
Mr. Wedge, please. I gotta talk to you. I've been trying to talk to you for days.
Would you be Mr. Bleeker by any chance?
I'm sorry, Nick. I told the man
Please,
that you
let me say 10 words to you. Haven't you got the time to hear 10 words from somebody?
All right, Mr. Bleeker, come on in.
Thank you.
Have a seat.
No, I'll stand. I'm too nervous to sit down.
Mr. Bleeker, I can save you some words. I know about your case. I know that your son has been arrested for stabbing that man.
Only he didn't do it. That's the thing. It was somebody else, and they arrested my Benny.
Well, I'm not saying that isn't possible.
I know it's true. My son told me it was true, and I believe him.
Oh, that's fine. That's the way it should be between a father and a son. But if he really is innocent, Mr. Bleeker, the chances are excellent that he'll go free.
No. The chance is rotten. The way things look, there's almost no chance. That's why I need somebody like you. Somebody who got other boys out of trouble.
I'm not a mastermind, Mr. Bleeker.
Yeah, but you got them all off. All those other boys. I heard about you. I asked around. I talked to all kinds of lawyers, and they all said, you get Nick Wedge. Nick Wedge will get your boy off.
Well, as I said, if he's really innocent, any decent attorney...
I'll pay you what you want, anything. Just get my little boy out of that place.
He's not too little, is he? 18?
He looked me straight in the face and said, Pop, I didn't do it. I didn't knife that man. You believe me, Pop? He said, I'm swearing it. On Mother's grave.
Mr. Bleeker, I'm really sorry. My schedule is full, and I was hoping to get away for a vacation at the end of the month. You see, I had a little accident myself recently.
Papers made it sound so bad. They said there are witnesses. They say people saw Benny with the knife in his hand. How could they say that? People, strangers, why would they say that about my boy?
Mr. Bleeker.
I don't say he's an angel. He runs around, he fights. Boy without a mother, it's a wild boy sometimes. Now, what can I do? I got a 24-hour business. I drive a fuel truck. I'll sell it, Mr. Wedge. You can have whatever I get for the truck.
Mr. Bleeker, listen to me. After you started coming here, I looked into the case as much as I could. I can tell you this much. It's not going to be easy to prove innocence. Maybe impossible. But it is a first offense. And with a charge of armed robbery, well, the court might be lenient.
So you looked into the case, huh? You didn't look far enough, Mr. Wedge. You didn't keep up.
What do you mean?
The man who was stabbed, he died last night.
Who are you? I'm your lawyer, Benny. Maybe.
You the lawyer my father told me about? One who gets everybody off?
If that's what he's told you, he's wrong. Sit down, Benny. We have things to talk about.
When can I get out of here? They told me I'd get out as soon as I got a lawyer.
Whoever told you that was wrong, too.
What about bail? My father says he can raise bail for me.
Bail's been refused.
What?
You heard me. Now, this is a capital offense. The victim is dead. The charge is now homicide. The court has refused bail.
You mean I gotta stay in this crummy place?
Until the trial, yes.
When's that?
Don't rush it. We need every minute of delay we can get. I don't think this is going to be easy.
Why shouldn't it be? I didn't stick that guy. I didn't have nothing to do with it.
You admitted to the police that you were there when Kenneth Archer was stabbed?
Sure I was there. I was hanging around with some guys.
You were hanging around with a street gang called the Silver Stars.
It's not a gang. It's like a club. We got a basketball squad and everything.
Yay, team.
We were all just walking down the street when this guy Archer came right in the middle of us. Now, maybe one of the guys stuck him. How should I know?
Benny, why do you carry a knife?
It's only a Boy Scout knife. They sell them all over. I use it for carving things like, you know.
Carving what? Totem poles?
Hey, whose side are you on?
All right, sit down. Let's go over facts the way the cops have them down. Anytime I say something that isn't true, you interrupt me, all right?
Yeah.
It was 10 minutes to midnight on October 9th. You and 4 other guys, all members of the Silver Stars, were walking down Thurman Street. Kenneth Archer was rounding the corner and bumped into you. Somebody shoved him. And somebody called him a wino. And then there was a scuffle. Archer fell to the ground and everybody started running. Everybody but you. You waited behind and bent over the guy.
I wanted to see if he was okay.
Shut up. I don't want explanations. Just stop me when I say something that isn't factual. Now, you bent over Archer and then you ran off. By now, there were a couple of witnesses. Both of them say they saw you with a knife in your hand. When they reached Archer's side, he'd been stabbed in the chest. His wallet was gone.
Okay. So somebody stuck him. Why does it have to be me?
Half an hour later, the cops caught up with you in your father's fuel supply office on Chester Street. The knife was still in your pocket. Well?
It wasn't me.
Are you saying it was one of your pals?
No. I don't even remember who they were.
You mean you don't give their names? That's against the code, isn't it?
It's a big club. The Silver Stars got maybe 50, 60 guys in it. I don't know them all.
You're not helping yourself, Benny. And you're not helping me.
But what do you want me to say? I didn't kill that guy. That's all I know.
The police have the knife. It's Exhibit A. They have the knife, they have the witnesses, and they have you. Now, what have I got?
You're the lawyer. You tell me.
All right, Benny, I'll tell you. I want you to cop a plea.
Huh?
I want you to plead guilty.
You crazy?
It's the only thing that makes any sense. You put this case to a jury, you'll spend the rest of your life in a cage. Plead guilty and you'll get a break.
I won't do it. I'm innocent. I'm not going to jail for something I didn't do.
I'm talking sense to you, Benny.
But I didn't do it. I swear it.
I'm only trying to help you, son.
I'm not your son. I got a father.
No, Mr. Wedge, don't say that. You can't give up. You've got to help my boy.
Well, that's what I'm trying to do.
I know how you feel about kids like Benny. I know what happened to you.
Well, that has nothing to do with it. If your son won't take my advice...
But if he takes your advice, if he pleads guilty to second-degree murder, he'll go to jail for sure, right?
Yes, he'll go to jail.
For something he didn't do.
Mr. Bleecker, I know you're his father, but that doesn't give you the right to ignore the facts. Look, a father's faith is a wonderful thing, but it's not a defense.
Yeah. You're right. I don't know what I'm talking about. I better go.
Mr. Bleecker.
Yeah?
All right. It's the dumbest decision I ever made, but we'll plead not guilty and then wait for a miracle.
Well, it looks like Mr. Nicholas Wedge stands a fair chance of going into court with a losing case. They say that preparation is 9/10 of the battle for an attorney. But how does one prepare for a miracle? We'll find out shortly when I return with Act 2. Here we are in the Criminal Courts building downtown. And from the looks of the crowd, the case of the People versus Benjamin Bleecker has attracted more than usual interest. But it's not Benny Bleecker they've come to see. Benny is just another young ruffian charged with just another street crime. But the star of the occasion is the lawyer who will be defending him. And the point of curiosity is, how will Nick Wedge succeed in saving his client in the face of some highly damning testimony?
Mr. Dankers, you reside at number 8 Thurman Street?
Yes, sir.
Have you lived there long?
About 10 years.
Please describe the events that you personally witnessed on the night of October 9th.
Well, I was sitting on the stoop getting a breath, and these kids come up the street. They was all wearing purple jackets. I didn't pay no attention on account of you see kids like that all the time, you know? They were marching like in a straight line, taking up the whole street, you know? And then this man comes around the corner.
The man being Kenneth Archer?
I didn't know the name at the time. He was just a man coming around the corner. And he bumps into this line of kids.
Was there a scuffle then?
Oh, yeah. There was a lot of pushing and shoving, all right. I mean, these were the kind of kids who thought they owned the whole street, you know?
Objection, Your Honor. Sustained. Just describe what occurred, Mr. Dankers.
Well, that's what I'm trying to do. Anyway, they all started pushing and shoving this man around, just because he bumped into them. And then the next thing I know, he was on the ground.
Mm-hmm. Had he been hurt, in your opinion, or just knocked to the ground?
Well, I couldn't tell, you know. I mean, he was kind of on his hands and knees like.
And what happened to the young men who knocked him down?
Well, they all ran off, you know. I mean, kind of laughing and yelling stuff.
All of them?
Yeah. All 5 of them run off. Only then one of them turns back all of a sudden and goes up to the guy. I saw him bend over him.
Did he speak to the man?
I don't know. I don't think so. I saw him reach down. I guess that's when he stabbed him.
Objection. Sustained. Please don't volunteer information, Mr. Dankers. Just answer the attorney's question.
All right, Mr. Dankers. What happened then?
Well, then he ran off, just like the rest of them. But that's when I saw the knife in his hand.
You actually saw the weapon?
I sure did.
But you didn't know that the knife had actually been used until you went up to Kenneth Archer.
Objection, Your Honor. The assumption that the wound was caused by the weapon that this witness presumably saw is unwarranted.
All right, I'll be happy to amend my statement, Your Honor, that Mr. Dankers didn't know that a knife had actually been used until he went up to the fallen man.
Will that satisfy your objection, Mr. Wedge?
Yes, sir.
Go on, Mr. Dankers. You say you ran up to the man to see how badly he was hurt.
That's right, and by the time I got there, I saw all this blood on the ground.
Mr. Dankers, how far away were you when all this happened?
Oh, I don't know, maybe 40, 50 feet.
You got a good look at the people involved in this incident?
Well, I don't remember what the kids looked like, the ones who ran away, but the one who came back, the one who did this, you know what I mean. Him I saw clear as anything, and the knife in his hand.
Do you see the man in the courtroom right now?
Yes, sir. Yes, I do. That's him over there.
All right, no further questions. Counsel for the defense may cross-examine.
Mr. Dankers, do you always wear glasses?
That's right.
Actually, even with correction, your vision isn't very keen, is it?
I'm 67, mister. Wait till you're my age.
It was almost midnight on a street which is lighted by a street lamp actually 30 yards from your building. Is that right?
I never measured it.
Well, I have, and you can take my word for it. The lamp is a good 30 yards from the scene of the crime, yet you saw a small jackknife. This knife, Exhibit A. Look at it, Mr. Dankers.
Yes, I saw it.
It's not a very large knife, is it?
But I saw it just the same. It was, sort of flashing in the light, you know? To tell you the truth, I might not have noticed it at all if it wasn't for one thing.
What's that?
Mrs. Dankers, my wife. She was sitting right next to me, and she said, "Look, Saul, that boy's got a knife."
All right, Benny. Let me get this straight. You claim that you don't remember the names of the other boys who were with you that night.
That's right, Mr. Wickers.
Even though they were members of your own gang. Pardon me. Your own social club.
I just met him. I mean, look, see, we all came out of this movie together. I mean, I didn't even talk to him.
Mm-hmm. I see. Benny, you do carry a knife, don't you?
Yeah. I mean, yes, sir. But, just a Boy Scout knife. Not a switchblade or anything like that.
In fact, you were carrying this knife on the night of October the 9th.
Well, yeah, I always carry it.
In fact, it was still in your pocket that night when the police picked you up.
Yes, sir.
By the way, son, were you a Boy Scout?
Who, me? No.
Uh-huh. No further questions, Your Honor.
Nick, would you like a coffee now?
Oh, yeah, Olga, bring it in. If you have some whiskey, bring that in, too. In fact, forget the coffee if you got whiskey.
Oh, sorry, boss, but it has to be coffee.
All right, thanks.
Nick, it's not going so well, is it?
Well, that's the understatement of the year.
Do you think you made a mistake putting the boy on the stand?
Well, I didn't know what else to do. I don't have any rebuttal witnesses. I don't have anyone to get up there and say that Benny Bleeker didn't have that knife in his hand. That he didn't kill Kenneth Archer. I figured the kid's own sincerity had to be my witness.
Well, you really think he came off sincere?
What do you think?
Me? Oh, I just sharpen the pencils and make the coffee, and judging from your expression, not very well.
Well, it's not the coffee. It's me. I've got a bad taste in my mouth. It's called premonition of disaster.
You're going to lose, aren't you?
As far as I know, there's only one person in the whole world convinced of that kid's innocence. Unfortunately, that person is his father.
Too bad you can't get him on the stand.
He won't make a convincing character witness. Although he did a good job on me, didn't he? If it hadn't been for that guy, I'd never have taken this case.
Nick, do you know something? You don't look well.
Losers never look well.
When this is over, you ought to see your doctor again. Maybe that knife wound is acting up.
A head shrinker, that's what I ought to see.
No, I mean a doctor.
You know something? It's a thought. Maybe I ought to see Doc Haggerty.
Who's he?
Well, you remember Haggerty on the Hofstra case, 1969?
Oh, well, he's not the kind of doctor I mean. He's a sort of biochemist, isn't he?
That's right. He's got an office at Dugan Hospital. Olga, I'm going out. If anybody wants me, I'll be back around 4.
You mean you're going to see him now?
Yes. To find out if he's got any good medicine.
I don't understand you, Nick. You say the police have already examined the boy's knife for bloodstains using the standard benzodine test.
That's right. It didn't show any. But that didn't mean anything. They claimed that naturally Benny would wipe the knife clean.
Well, that stands to reason.
But you told me once that there was a more sensitive test for bloodstains, remember?
Yes, there's another test. It's called the reduced phenolphthalein test. It's far more sensitive, in my opinion, but it's not universally accepted. Why do you ask?
Doc, I want to make that test.
Well, all right. Get me the boy's knife.
I can't do that. It's court property. Exhibit A for the prosecution. But could you demonstrate the test for me with another knife? One just like it.
I suppose so. If you have one like it.
I do, right here. I picked this up on the way over. It's identical to the knife Benjamin Bleecker carried. Pretty cheap, too. $1.98.
Well, the cheaper the better.
Why do you say that?
I'll show you. First, I'll mix up some of the reduced phenolphthalein solution. Then, when it's done, we'll dip the knife blade into some whole blood, wipe off every trace, and dip it into the solution.
And even after it's wiped, a stain might appear?
Well, that's what I meant by a cheap knife being better. In a cheap knife, the blade is porous, so it retains microscopic quantities of blood. Even after it's wiped off. Well, let's see what happens, huh? All right, Nick. You ready for the test?
Ready when you are, CB.
Okay. Now, first, we'll dip the blade into the whole blood.
Where do you get that stuff? From vampires?
All right, then we'll wipe it absolutely clean. There. Does that look clean to you?
Like a whistle.
Okay. Now, we'll place it in the solution and watch carefully.
Hey, stuff's changing color, turning pink.
Well, you see what I mean? What appeared to be a perfectly clean blade isn't clean at all. The blood tells a story.
That's really amazing, Doc.
In fact, the bloodstains might have been there years ago, and this test would still show them up.
So if I took the kid's knife, put it into the solution, and it turned pink...
You'd be one lousy lawyer, Nick. You'd be sending your client to prison.
Yeah, maybe.
And maybe unfairly, too, because, you see, the test doesn't prove whose blood is on the knife. Even if your client just cut his own finger once, it'd work just the same. He'll look just as guilty.
All right. That's something I can straighten out with him. Right now. Hello, Benny.
Hi, Mr. Wedge.
Benny, I want you to listen to me very carefully. I've got something important to ask you. I've got an idea that may save your skin, but I have to know something. And it's got to be the truth.
What is it?
There's a test, Benny. A test that can determine whether or not there was ever blood on that knife of yours. Ever. Understand?
Yeah. So what?
Well, I intend to make that test in court tomorrow. If it's negative, the jury will know that you didn't kill Kenneth Archer.
Oh, I don't understand that kind of stuff.
I'm not asking you to understand. If you stab that man, a jug full of chemical is going to turn pink. and you can kiss your freedom goodbye. But there's something else. If you ever cut anybody with that knife, even yourself, that chemical will turn pink. So I want you to tell me now, was there ever blood on that knife?
Hey, you're trying to trick me?
Answer the question.
I told you I didn't cut that guy.
Benny.
No, it was brand new. I never cut nothing with it.
Are you sure? Absolutely sure. Not even your own finger.
No!
You can fool me, kid, but you can't fool a test tube.
I'm telling you the truth.
All right, Benny. We'll see how true it is. We'll give that knife a bath tomorrow. And God help us both if you lied to me.
Well, it looks like Nicholas Wedge is facing a real test in that courtroom tomorrow. He'll be putting his own convictions on the line in order to avoid conviction for his client. Personally, I plan to attend that court session, and you will too, simply by staying right where you are, until I return shortly with Act 3. Once again, the trial of Benjamin Bleecker is a well-attended affair. But the spectators have no idea that they're about to witness a dramatic experiment in which chemical science will be matched against eyewitness testimony. But let's quiet the courtroom now because the judge has something to say.
Mr. Wickers, is the prosecution prepared to make its summary?
Yes, Your Honor.
Your Honor.
Yes, Mr. Wedge?
Your Honor, something has occurred which I consider of paramount importance to this case. I ask the court's permission to introduce new evidence for the defense.
Objection. The defense has had sufficient time for the introduction of evidence. I suggest this is a delaying tactic.
What sort of evidence, Mr. Wedge?
It's a demonstration, Your Honor. A demonstration which will, in my opinion, clearly establish my client's innocence. Or, for that matter, his guilt.
Your Honor, if Mr. Wedge would like a postponement...
I don't want a postponement. I want to make this demonstration now. If I may be permitted to describe it to the court.
Mr. Wickers, if the prosecution has no objection.
All right, very well, Your Honor.
Thank you, Mr. Wickers. If I may come forward, Your Honor.
What is it you have there, Mr. Wedge?
This box, Your Honor, contains a beaker with a chemical solution formulated for the detection of bloodstains.
One moment, Mr. Wedge. Are you introducing expert testimony?
Please indulge me, Your Honor. Just let me explain what it's all about.
Very well.
If I may have Exhibit A. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, you've seen this exhibit many times in the course of this trial. The knife which presumably killed Kenneth Archer. The knife which was in the possession of Benjamin Bleecker on the night of the slaying. Now, when someone is killed with a knife, what happens to that weapon? Invariably, it becomes covered with blood. And yet, during this entire trial, not one mention has been made of that word. Well, I mention it now. Blood. Look carefully at this weapon. I'm sure you all know that it has never left the court's possession since my client was arrested. Now look at this blade. See how clean and shiny it is? That's not surprising. The knife is new, purchased only a few weeks ago. But what may surprise you is that this clean, shiny blade can still tell a story of guilt or innocence. For as every chemist knows, there is a virtually infallible test which can determine whether an object of such porous metal has ever touched even one drop of blood. Your Honor, I intend to prove once and for all whether I have been defending a young man falsely accused or a lying murderer. I intend to dip the blade of this knife in a solution of reduced phenolphthalein, the most sensitive of all blood detection chemicals.
One moment, Mr. Wedge.
Yes, Mr. Wickers.
You say that this beaker contains what?
Well, I'll try to pronounce it a second time, Mr. Wickers, although the first was tough enough. Reduced phenolphthalein.
And how can we be certain that it contains this, solution? Could be lemonade, as far as we know.
I have a statement here from Dr. Harold Haggerty of the Dugan Hospital, testifying as to the contents.
One moment, please. If you plan to produce expert testimony, why isn't that expert here to testify?
I don't plan to call a witness, Mr. Wickers. I plan only to make this test.
But you are aware that the accepted blood test in this county is the benzodine test, which is...
If the prosecution will allow me to conclude my statement...
Mr. Wedge, do you presume to be a greater expert in forensic chemistry than the county police laboratory?
I'm not presuming anything. I'm telling you that if the knife blade turns this solution pink, it will prove beyond a doubt that there was blood on Benjamin Bleeker's knife. But if it remains clear...
Your Honor, objection.
State your objection, Counselor.
This is the most ridiculous and flamboyant thing I've ever seen in the courtroom. The police laboratory has already made the standard test of the weapon and found no bloodstains on the knife. It was wiped clean.
But, Your Honor, the sensitivity of this test
At no time during this trial has the prosecution denied that absence of bloodstains. Mr. Wedge is planning to demonstrate something we already know, using a test which is not accepted as standard laboratory procedure. I suggest that this so-called demonstration is pure theatrics, intended to mislead and confuse the jury.
Mr. Wedge, the court must agree with the prosecution. You are not a qualified expert in forensic chemistry. Mere corroboration of the police laboratory report is gratuitous evidence which must be considered inadmissible.
But my client was willing to have me make the test. Don't you see? He knew the chance he was taking.
I'm sorry, the demonstration is improper. The objection is sustained.
But, Your Honor...
Sustained, Mr. Wedge. You cannot make the test.
Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, I believe that Benjamin Bleeker is innocent. I believe this because of a test which I was not permitted to make. This boy knew that the results of this test might have condemned him to life in prison. And yet, Benjamin Bleeker told me to proceed. What could be more obvious? That no guilty person would have done so.
Will the foreman of the jury please rise? Has the jury reached its verdict in this case?
We have, Your Honor.
How do you find the defendant, Benjamin Bleeker? Guilty or not guilty?
We find the defendant not guilty.
Bless you, Mr. Wedge. God bless you for what you did out there.
Yeah. You really did a job on him, Mr. Wedge. Gee, thanks a lot.
I didn't ask you in here to congratulate me. I had another reason.
Yeah. I know we should talk about the fee.
No, Mr. Bleeker. It's not my fee I'm worrying about. It's my conscience.
Your conscience? Why?
Because of what I just did.
Yeah, but you saved my boy.
Yes, I know. But in order to do that, I had to resort to exactly what the prosecuting attorney called pure theatrics.
What? I don't understand.
I didn't want to make that test. Do you understand? I didn't want to make it. Didn't even plan on making it. I would have had to, I suppose, if there was no objection. But that was the chance I took.
Wait a minute. You didn't want to?
If the stuff in this beaker had turned pink, it would have been all over for your son. I was counting on the prosecution objecting. I wanted their objections because I thought the jury would be impressed. simply by the fact that we were volunteering this experiment.
Yeah, but if you had made the test, it would have been all right, too.
How do you know?
No, because it would have been. Because what my son said was true.
Well, there's only one way we can really know that, isn't there? You see this, Mr. Bleeker?
Hey, that's my knife.
That's right. Exhibit A.
What are you going to do?
We're going to make the test that judge wouldn't allow. We're going to make it privately. Just for us.
But why? What does it matter now?
It matters to me. That's why. Hand me that knife, please.
The knife?
Give it to me. Don't you want to know the truth, too?
The truth.
Pop, for the love of... Pop, what are you doing?
Bleeker, what are you doing with that knife?
I'm cutting myself with it, Mr. Wedge. Cutting my hand with it.
Pop, are you crazy?
Here, Mr. Wedge. Here's your knife. Make your test now.
Well, that's what I would call a bloody good demonstration of fatherly affection. Maybe Nicholas Wedge will never know whether his client was guilty or innocent, but he'll never forget that he's seen vivid proof that blood is, indeed, thicker than water. I'll be back shortly. I hope you noticed something at the beginning of this program. I warned you that if you couldn't stand the sight of blood, you might find this story too gory for your tastes. But, of course, you haven't seen any blood flowing on the Radio Mystery Theater. You imagine it. And perhaps that's the most gruesome experience of all. We hope that you'll return for another gruesome experience. Our cast included Jay Gregory, Robert Dryden, Bob Caliban, Grace Matthews, and Ira Lewis. The entire production was under the direction of Hyman Brown. Now, a preview of our next tale.
Steve, you're alive.
Yeah, I guess so. How are you? Hey, you're bleeding.
Huh? Oh, I just cut my head a little. It's nothing.
Oh, I can't get up. I think I sprained my ankle. Maybe broken it. Here, give me a hand, Si. There's some sort of jagged rock under my back. Could you move it or help me up?
Yeah, let me see. Oh, it's just a rock. Let me get rid of it and then... Get rid of it? Or use it?
What are you waiting for?
I'm not waiting any longer.
Well, then, for the love of...
This time, you are dead.
Radio Mystery Theater was sponsored in part by Anheuser-Busch Incorporated, Brewers of Budweiser, and Buick Motor Division. This is E.G. Marshall inviting you to return to our Mystery Theater for another adventure in the macabre. Until next time, pleasant dreams. Come in. Welcome. I'm E.G. Marshall. The human brain, we are told, contains 3 areas. The conscious, the subconscious, and the unconscious. We have, all of us, experienced the effects of these areas, especially that strange no man's land between waking and sleeping, between dreams and reality, when we are never quite sure where we are, or at times even what we are. So then, we can understand, relate to Vicky Carson's strange adventure.
Please, I beg you, Drusilla. Don't let him take us back there.
Save us. Protect us from that awful place, that awful garden.
My dear Vicky and Jack, the Garden of Death is something I...
The Garden of Death?
Yes, I cannot let...
So that's what it is. The Garden of Death. Oh, please. Please don't let Mordred take us back to that. Let us stay here with you.
I'm sorry, child. I cannot help you now. Not now.
Our mystery drama, The Garden, was written especially for the Mystery Theater by George Lothar and stars Jennifer Harmon and Jack Grimes. It is sponsored in part by Buick Motor Division and Anheuser-Busch Incorporated, Brewers of Budweiser. I'll be back shortly with Act One. I think I may say without fear of denial that man has thought more about life and death, particularly death, than about any other subject in the world. Some say that death is the end of us. Others said it is a rebirth. Others, well, no matter, for no one really knows. Or perhaps they do. Perhaps at least two people know. Vicky Carson and Jack Gibbons, who... But enough. Let them, not I, tell their story.
Oh, where am I? How did I get into this terrible place? This forest, this jungle. Help me. Please, someone help me.
Hello? Hello?
Hello? Who are you? Where are you? There's such a fog, I can't see.
Keep calling. Keep saying something, anything, so I can follow the direction of your voice.
Oh, yes.
Well, say something.
I don't know what to say.
Anything. Say it. Oh, damn, I'm caught again. These blasted thorns. You hear me? Say something, anything. A poem, a prayer.
A prayer? Oh, all right. I don't know any prayers. Wait, I know. Now is the time for all good men to come to the aid of their country.
Okay, keep saying it.
Yeah. Now is the time for all good men to come to the aid of their country. Now is the time for all good men to come to the aid of their...
Okay, that's enough. I've reached you.
Oh, you poor man. You're all scratched. You're bleeding. You're covered with mud.
You'd be, too, if you'd been trying for I don't know how long to fight your way out of this jungle. Oh. Who are you?
Vicky Carson.
Jack Gibbons. What was that crazy stuff you were giving out with?
Crazy stuff?
Now is the time for all good men to something or other.
Oh, that. It's an exercise they give you in typing school. I guess I did it so many times I'll never forget it.
Oh, you go to a typing school?
Well, I did before I became a secretary. I was a secretary, you see, and... Oh, well, that's funny.
Oh, what?
I said I was a secretary. I spoke of myself in the past tense as if I was dead or like that.
Well, you're anything but dead, you ask me. Well, nobody as beautiful as you could be dead.
Oh, well, thank you. Where are we? What is this place?
Well, you got me. You don't know?
No. All I know is I'm here somehow, and Oh, this place, it scares me.
I'll tell you the truth, me too. The trees... God, I don't know, maybe it's the heavy gray fog, but the trees all look deformed.
Evil. Kind of evil.
Yeah, and the plants, the flowers...
I don't know. There's something about them. Hey, we can't just stand here and never get out. We'll do that. Come on.
Where to?
Yeah, I don't know. We'll just keep walking till we get somewhere.
All right, whatever you say.
Well, all right, come on.
I can't move. Caught on something, my ankle. Something's around my ankle.
Oh, here, let me see what... Hey! Something wrapped around my neck all of a sudden.
The vines. Vines hanging from the tree. Jack, I think they're alive.
Damned if they don't seem to be.
My body now. The vines are wrapping themselves around my...
I'm strangling.
Crushing me. Crushing. Jack, help me.
I can't help myself.
You need help?
The fire hose.
Man. Good Lord, it's like a giant.
I said, you need help.
Yes, help.
Well, help us.
It'll cost you.
Cost us?
I help you, you gotta pay.
Pay?
I got something you need. You want it, you pay for it.
Oh, anything.
Remember that. Now stand still, the two of you, while I rip these vines away. There. There. You're free.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks. Who are you?
You can call me Mordred.
Well, what is this place, this awful jungle?
It's not a jungle. It's a garden.
A garden?
I know. Looks more like a jungle. Well, that's what happens to gardens when nobody cares. See you.
No, wait. Don't leave us alone.
Don't worry. I'll be around again to collect.
Collect?
What you owe me. You said if I helped you, you'd pay anything. You will.
Jack. Oh, Jack, can't we rest a little?
No, Vicky, we gotta keep moving. Gotta find a way out.
If only that man, that ugly giant of a man, hadn't left us.
Oh, I'm glad he did. The guy frightened me. Come on now, don't lose your nerve. After all, you're not alone anymore. I'm here.
Oh, and I'm grateful for that. Believe me, Jack, listen.
Yeah, I hear it, too.
Sounds. Whatever it is, it sounds lovely, charming.
Come on, let's see if we can locate it.
Oh, Jack, not so fast. Slow down.
Yeah, it's hard to breathe. It's bad air.
Oh, thorns are catching my dress. The vines are tangling my feet.
Okay, we'll take it slow. Easier. Is that better?
Oh, much, thanks.
Aim to please.
I can't get a pulse, Doctor.
Jack, listen.
Doctor, I tell you, I get no pulse at all.
Did you hear that?
The music?
No, a voice. A voice that said something about... Jack, I remember.
Hey, cool it. You remember what?
Something about an operation, a serious operation.
Whose?
I think mine.
Yeah? Well, let's keep moving. We'll never get to where that music... Now what?
I'm sorry, but my feet are stepping in it. Oh, it's like mud.
Hey, too, now what in the... Mud? It's more like glue.
Oh, quicksand.
Quicksand?
It is. I'm sinking. Oh, it's deeper and deeper. I'm sinking.
What do we do? What do we do?
Don't do anything. Oh, Jack.
Huh?
There. A woman. Just be still a moment. Don't move.
Vicky, she's the most beautiful.
Now, come toward me. We can't move. Yes, you can. Move slowly. There's no hurry.
I can move.
So can I. But it's amazing. And don't talk. Save your energy. You haven't much left. Oh, that's it. That's right. Oh,
And here you are, safe and sound.
I don't know how you did it, but... Oh, thank you.
Not at all, Vicky, not at all.
For a moment there, I thought... How do you know my name?
You're surprised?
Well, yes, after all, we've never met.
Oh, but we have several times.
Well, I don't remember ever...
Perhaps you don't recognize me.
Who are you? What's your name?
Whatever you please.
Whatever.
What is your favorite name? What name do you like most in the whole world?
Oh, you wouldn't believe it.
Tell me.
Well, I don't know why. I can't even remember where I heard it or saw it. In a book, maybe, but... Well, anyhow, it's Drusilla.
Drusilla? Oh, a beautiful name.
Not as beautiful as you. I'm sorry. Excuse me, I shouldn't have. I mean... Well, you are beautiful, and I had to say it.
Thank you. And now then, come with me, please.
Oh, where?
If you look over there, you'll see a wall and a gate in the wall. Follow me.
The music seems to be coming from the other side of the wall.
Yes.
And hey, everything's kind of changing. The air smells good.
Yes.
Oh, I smell flowers. I mean flowers that smell the way flowers ought to.
Birds. I haven't heard birds singing since...
Since when, Jack?
I don't know. I can't remember.
No matter. Here we are.
Oh, Jack, look. Beyond the gate. Oh, Drusilla, that's the most lovely. Jack, look. Look, Jack, flowers everywhere. Oh, and fountains, too, and birds, and... Oh, that heavenly music.
Out of sight. Plain out of sight.
Thank you. But the garden really isn't mine. I merely take care of it. See that everything is properly cared for. Well, now shall we go in?
Well, just lead the way.
Vicky?
I don't know, but...
I thought you were delighted with what you see.
Oh, that's it. I'm afraid even a short visit here, I couldn't bear to go back there.
But, child, it needn't be a short visit. In fact, it needn't be a visit at all.
Are you saying we can stay?
Forever.
Oh, no.
Mordred.
You're not as clever as you think you are, sweetheart. These two belong to me.
Oh, no.
Oh,
no.
Yes. You seem to forgot that you owe me and haven't paid.
Mordred, let them go.
Not me, sweetheart. Not till they've paid in full.
How strange the tricks the human mind can play. Is it some sort of dream Vicky and Jack are going through? A vast gulf, a bottomless abyss, lies between the conscious and the subconscious. We'll perhaps learn precisely in which of these realms Vicky and Jack are having their strange experience when I return shortly with Act 2. Vicky Carson, wandering about in a strange and evil garden, unable to say how she got there, meets Jack Gibbons, and they in turn meet a giant of a man, Mordred, as vile and ugly as the garden itself. Later, to their relief and delight, they meet a lovely woman named Drusilla, who invites them into another garden, a garden of such beauty that they beg to stay in it.
They owe me, these two. They're going back with me till they've paid in full.
Oh, no, not back there. Not to that awful place.
Mordred, please let them stay with me.
You know better than to ask that.
Please, Drusilla, please save us from going back.
My dear Vicky, I cannot.
But you must. I can't bear it to go back to that horrible place.
Child, you must. You see, the Garden of Death is...
So that's what it is. The Garden of Death. And he, Mordred, is death. He is death.
Vicky, child, listen to me.
Enough talk. Come on, let's go.
Wait. What are you going to do with them? To them? How do you intend to make them pay?
I don't see it's any business of yours, but since you ask, I need someone to do the heavy work.
Another slave?
If that's what you want to call it, I can use him on the treadmill. He'll be able to ease my burden in many ways. As for her, I can use her to make life more pleasurable in quite another way.
Drusilla, no. Please don't let him take me back to the Garden of Death.
I can do nothing to prevent it.
Jack, save me. Protect me.
Vicky, if I could. But I'm no match for Mordred. He could break me in two.
Funny you should put it that way, Mr. Gibbons. That's exactly what I intend to do.
Jack. Oh, if you'd only let me massage your back, your shoulders.
No, don't touch them, please. I'm in such agony, I couldn't stand it, not even to be touched.
Oh, it's horrible. Horrible.
Horrible isn't the word for what he's doing to me. There is no word. I'm on that treadmill 12 hours a day. 12 hours. Horrible.
For me, too.
You? Oh, you gotta be kidding. Look at you. Dressed like a queen. Your hair, your skin, your nails. Nobody was ever kept better than you.
Kept? Yes. Like a prize animal.
And me like a dog. What he's doing to me, words can't describe.
Broken back, I'm afraid. Broken back.
Oh, car accident. I'm remembering.
Car accident? What car accident?
I don't exactly remember, but don't remember. Was I drunk?
Jack.
Yes, I think I was drunk and out of control. Car out of control.
Lumbar vertebrae. Third, fourth, fifth. Smash.
That voice.
What voice? I don't hear any.
I do. I don't. Not now, but I thought.
The way I did? The way I thought I heard someone saying they couldn't get a pulse?
Yeah, I guess.
Oh, Lord, what's happening to us?
I think... You know what? I think either we're dead or dying.
That's what I've been thinking.
What makes you think it?
She told us. Drusilla, that we're in... She called it the Garden of Death.
Yeah, that's for sure.
But every now and then we hear those voices.
Yeah, I can't be sure, but I get the feeling I was killed in an automobile accident. Only maybe I'm not dead yet, like I could be on an operating table in some hospital, sort of between there and here.
Exactly. And I had, or could be having, right this minute having an operation. A serious operation, and I'm halfway on the borderline of dying or living. Oh, God, let me live. Let me live. Don't let me... Please don't let me stay here.
Oh, come on, pull yourself together.
I can't bear being dead.
What can you do about it? What can I do about it? Nothing.
No, there is something. I've been thinking about it. I'm going to find my way back to the Garden of Life.
Garden of Life?
Drusilla's. I'm going to get back there somehow.
How?
I don't know yet, but I will. I'm not ready to die. Not yet. I'm going to live, Jack. You'll see, I'm going to live. Jack, wake up.
What is... What?
Shh. Don't wake Mordred.
Huh?
And don't talk. Listen. Jack, I found a path to the Garden of Life.
You found...
Come with me. Come.
Crazy. plain crazy wandering around in the moonlight like this.
I'll find the path. It's here somewhere.
You seem awfully sure.
I am. Every chance I got this week, day and night, I came out here and searched, and I found this path.
How do you know it leads to the Garden of Life?
It must. It goes straight in that direction. I followed it as far as a clearing, but had to turn back before I could... Jack! Here it is.
Yeah, you were right.
Let's not waste time. Come on.
Where is it? Where is it? You said the clearing.
Not far now, not far. I hope.
What have we got ourselves into? What have you got me into? This jungle, it's alive with God knows what.
Oh, will you stop your moaning and groaning? Or we can reach Drusilla's garden. Yes, here it is, the clearing.
Where? I don't see it.
Straight ahead. That big patch of moonlight. That's it. Come on now.
Completely crushed. Lumbar vertebrae completely crushed.
What's that?
If he lives, he'll never walk again.
What's what?
That voice. Didn't you hear that voice?
No, Jack.
Oh,
Jack!
my back. My back, the pain, I can't move. I can't move.
Oh, Jack. Oh, you must be in terrible pain. You've got to get to that clearing. You've got to do something. Drag him. See if I can drag him. Jack. Made it. Jack. Jack.
What?
We'll rest a while. Here in the middle of the clearing. It'll do you good. Regain some strength.
Yeah.
How is the pain?
It's not bad now. I can bear it if it doesn't get worse. Good Lord, what was that?
I don't know.
Shadows in the trees, flitting in the trees, huge shadows. Birds. Big birds, monstrous.
Jack, I'm scared. Oh, they're coming out of the tree. Heaven help me, I've never seen such birds. It's giant birds.
They're going to kill us. That's what they're going to do, kill us.
Oh, no, they're coming for us. They're clawing at us.
Their beaks, they'll tear us to shreds.
Leave them alone. I command you, leave them alone. Drusilla. Go. Drusilla. It's Drusilla. Oh, thank God.
Are you all right?
Oh, yes, thanks to you, yes.
What are you doing here? How did you find this place?
I found a path. We followed it. What is this place?
It has no name. It's just an area, space between the two gardens. Mordred's and mine. Neutral ground. What are you doing here?
She wanted to get to your garden.
Well, so did you. Don't blame everything on me.
Blame? There's no blame in wanting to be in my garden. Only a fool would want to remain in Mordred's.
Oh, you think so, do you?
Mordred. Priscilla, don't let him take us back. Please don't.
Softly, child. Softly. I'll do what I can.
Which is nothing at all. They're mine, these two, and they will remain mine. Get up, you. On your feet.
I can't. I'm in terrible pain, awful pain.
I don't give a damn how much pain you're in. On your feet.
Oh, must you kick him?
None of your business what I do to him.
I can make it my business. You know that. I've done it more than once when your brutality has become too much for me.
Oh, shut up. Go back to where you belong. Now, I'm telling you for the last time, get on your feet.
All right. All right.
And you, sweetheart, get going.
No, I can't go back.
Oh, yes, you can.
Please.
Mordred, enough. Let her be, or I warn you, I'll take this matter to the master.
Much good that'll do you.
There's one way to find out.
Hold it just a minute.
Yes?
Now, there's no sense bothering him with
I
this.
think there is. You've gone too far again.
I don't know about that.
I do. What's more, these two, Vicky and Jack, are on neutral ground between your garden
But
and
they
mine.
belong to me.
To you, always to you. Will you never learn I have as much right as you? Can't you get it through your stupid, greedy head that it's pointless to argue like this, wrangle like this? It always ends the same way.
If you mean compromise.
What else would I mean?
You take one, I take one.
Yes.
I don't know. I can get a lot more work out of him.
He's in frightful pain. His back, he can't work in such pain. Drusilla, don't let him take me back.
I'll take her. You keep him.
No! Shh, quiet. I want to think about this for a moment, Mordred.
Nothing to think about. I've decided.
It's my decision, not yours. You had first choice last time.
You can't blame a guy for trying, huh? Okay. Which one do you want?
Which one? That's the question. Which?
As Drusilla ponders her decision, Vicky and Jack watch her with eyes that hold indescribable yearning. For one, it will mean life. For the other, death. Which, then, will be the lucky one? The one Drusilla will choose to return with her to her garden. We'll know the answer when I return shortly for Act 3. Why is life so full of troublesome decisions? Maybe life would be easier, pleasanter if there were no options, no choices. Maybe not. Can't say. And frankly, I can't say whether the strange and beautiful Drusilla will choose Vicky or Jack to take back to her enchanting and enchanted garden. Let's find out, shall we?
Take me. Oh, please take me.
No, me. Listen, Drusilla, I'll be a lot more use to you. I'll get over this back problem. You'll see, and I'll work for you. Work even harder, longer than for Mordred.
Don't listen to him. He's a liar and a cheat.
Cheat?
Yes, trying to cheat me out of what's rightfully mine. Who found this path? I did.
So you found the path, so what?
So I deserve to go with Drusilla. I was the one who wanted to live.
Don't listen to her.
I'll take neither of you.
What?
Neither?
I'm sorry. Truly sorry. When we met before, I felt each of you close to being worthy of joining me in my garden, but now... No, I want neither of you now.
Why not? Why not?
You've changed, the two of you. There's hate in you now. Jealousy, greed. You're not worthy anymore. Mordred?
Yes?
Take them. Both of them. Back with you.
Jack, you hear me? I know you do.
What do you want?
Stop that thing a minute.
I can't. It's a treadmill. You get on a treadmill, you stay on it. For some reason.
Well, can you hear me? Listen. Drusilla was right. We've become greedy, selfish, full of hate.
When it comes to hate, believe me, I am full of it.
That's what I want to talk to you about. I've found a way to get back to the Garden of Life.
Oh, not again.
Yes, again, and this time we'll make it. It's simple. All we have to do is get the greed and hate out of our systems. Get to be more like we were when Drusilla first met us.
Hey, you know, maybe you have got an idea at that.
Of course I have. There's just one problem.
What?
How do we do it? How do we get rid of hate, for instance? Like, I hate you for getting me into the mess I'm in.
I got you.
Yes, and more than that, you were willing to sacrifice me to Mordred so that you could be with Drusilla in the Garden of Life. I hate you for that. I mean, I really hate you. How do I stop?
You can't stop.
Mordred.
Fools. The two of you. You can't stop hate. It's too strong to be stopped. Too powerful. The most potent force in the human race. And who told you to take a rest? Come in.
No!
Here's another across your back so you don't forget.
No!
You.
Yes, Mordred.
Come to me in an hour.
Yes, Mordred.
If I could only stand up to him. I didn't have his back. Had more strength. Go God, how I hate him.
I do, too. And I must stop it.
You can't stop it. Give him his due. He's right about that. There's nothing more powerful than hate.
I wonder if there isn't.
Now, you just go right on wondering. But do it somewhere else. I hate the sight of you.
Hello? Drusilla, can you hear me? It's Vicky. I'm at the garden gate. Drusilla?
What is it, Vicky?
Oh, I didn't know you were standing there.
I wasn't till now.
May I come in? Please, just for a moment.
I'm sorry, no. You must stay on that side of the gate.
I think she's gone, Doctor. No pulse at all.
Well, perhaps for a moment.
Did you hear that voice?
Yes.
What did it say?
Well, you heard it.
I keep hearing it. Now and then. But I can't remember a second later what it said.
What is it you want, Vicky?
I've come to tell you I don't hate anymore.
Oh?
I hated Jack and Mordred, but not anymore. So may I stay? Why do you look so sad?
Because I am. When people lie to me, it makes me sad.
But I'm not. All right, I lied. But only because I can't stand it anymore. I've got to come here. I'm just dying to be with you.
Yes, I know. But I can't have you in my garden until you've put hate out of your heart.
I can't. I've tried. I keep trying, but I can't do it.
Not alone, no.
But I am alone.
No one in your world is alone. They just forget who's with them. Always.
Who?
God.
God?
You've heard of him, I think?
Well, yes, but...
But what, child?
How do you get in touch with him?
Easily. Just think of someone else for a change. Do something for someone else.
I don't understand how.
There's nothing to understand. Just do it.
Massaging the heart is doing it, Doctor. I'm getting a pulse again.
You must go now.
That voice. I heard it again.
So did I. Go now. Quickly.
But I don't want to go. Oh, I can't go, not back to Mordred and Jack and all the awful things back there. Drusilla? Gone. Oh, why couldn't you let me stay? Why? Gun? Jack, that's a gun.
Yeah.
Where did you get it?
There's plenty around, no sweat.
What are you going to do with it?
What I should have done long before now, and you're going to help me.
Help you? Help you do what?
Kill the dirty, rotten swine.
Kill? Mordred?
I don't know why I never thought of it before. I guess he had me so scared the thought never crossed my mind. But it has now. It's the one way, the only way of getting free of him.
And you want me to help you?
Well, you will, won't you?
Jack, that's murder.
I'd call it justice.
It's murder. It's killing someone. It's taking a life. You can't do that.
Oh, yes, I can.
Jack, listen to me. You want to be with Drusilla, to live in the garden of life as much as I do. And to murder someone, there can't be anything worse than that. I hate worse than that. Murder Mordred and you'd be barred from the garden of life forever.
All I want is to be free of Mordred. And I'm going to be whether you help me or not. Now, will you or won't you?
Oh, Jack,
Now, you listen to me. You've got no more chance than I have of living in Drusilla's garden. You've got as much hate in you as I have in me. So much that neither of us can ever get rid of it. Well, we can at least get rid of Mordred. Be free of him forever. After that, well, life here won't exactly be a picnic. But it'll be a hell of a lot easier and happier. I'll play it smart, Vicky. Help me. Vicky.
All right. What do you want me to do?
Level with me, baby. What are you up to?
Up to?
Why, nothing, Mordred.
For the last 2 or 3 days, you've been all sugar and spice. A big change from the hellcat you were.
Now, you said you'd tame me, darling, and I guess you have. I could use something to kind of pick me up.
Like what?
A drink.
A drink? You don't drink?
Well, there's always a first time.
Well, what do you know? You are changing. Well, sure. What'll it be?
Champagne.
Right on. Now, let's see. Here we are. But, sweetie, it'll take a while to chill.
Can't we drink it warm?
Warm champagne? Well, why not? Never had it that way, but like you said, there's always a first time. Hey, now I know why they chill it. Warm champagne goes all over. Hey, quick, give me the glasses all over the place.
Here you are.
Yeah, there. Now, what do we drink to?
Us.
Yeah, sure. To us. Here, bottoms up.
Bottoms up.
Oh. Not bad. Warm champagne's not bad after all, huh? Again?
Sure.
Yeah.
Mordred! What's happened?
Oh, no, all of a sudden I feel weak and dizzy. Hey, what have you done to me? The glass. You put something in my glass. The room's going around. I feel sick.
You won't be feeling sick long, Mordred.
Gibbons, what is this? The gun. You're going to kill me.
Oh, you figured that out all by yourself? That's real smart of you.
Oh, played me for a sucker, didn't you, doll? Suddenly, all sweetness and light, and I fell for it.
Mordred, I'm sorry.
What are you sorry about? You got this rotten pig right where we want him now.
No, don't, Jack, don't.
Vicky, you're a fool. He gets it, and he gets it now.
No! Oh!
Vicky! Oh, my God.
It's all right. Oh, it's better this way.
Better? I shot you. You threw yourself in front of him.
Yes.
Why? Why did you want to save him?
Not him. You. From murder. From a sin of hatred you might never be forgiven.
I don't get it.
She said, Drusilla, if you want to rid yourself of hate and be with me, think of someone else for a change. Do something for someone else. Vicky! Drusilla? Come, Vicky. Come now, child.
She's gone, Doctor. No question now.
Come, my dear. Come. Yes. Oh, yes, I'm coming, Drusilla. I'm coming. Oh, Drusilla.
There now. There.
Hush. Rest a bit, rest. Don't even try to move. Just rest here in my arms for a little while. I'm here, in your garden at last. Yes. I did something for someone else. I lost the hatred that was in me.
Sorry, Doctor. Her heart just couldn't take it.
Oh, don't worry about it. You've heard it for the last time. Now, would you like to see the garden?
But I do see it.
Only a part, a small part.
Oh, but nothing could be more beautiful than this. The flowers. I've never seen such gorgeous colors. And the fountains are they're like quicksilver shining in the sun. And the birds, they're so beautiful. Oh, nothing could be lovelier than this.
You will see. Come. Vicky, why do you turn back?
Jack, can't he come too?
No, he's not ready, I'm afraid. But he will
will be one day. He'll join you here, but first life must teach him all he needs to be taught.
Life? Until life teaches him?
Child, life on earth is a school. That's all it is. You go to school again and again until you learn all you need to know in your heart now to join me here.
But you sound as if a person has to die before coming here.
True. You are, to use your word, dead.
But all this unbelievable beauty, this incredible loveliness, it must be the Garden of Life.
No. You were in the Garden of Life, a garden filled with corruption, hatred, greed, every vile sin the human being can create. But you've at last escaped into my garden, the Garden of Death.
Then you must be.
Yes. Who else, child? Who else?
I've never thought of death as being a beautiful woman, have you? Birth, life, death, only words, really. Symbols we use to express the unfathomable. Who is to say that life is not really death, or death life, and birth a state somewhere in between? Who is to say? Not I, surely. I'll be back shortly. I really don't know that there's much I can say. You heard, and what you heard has surely given rise to thoughts you may not have entertained before. As I said at the outset, there are those who believe that death is not death, but birth. That indeed what we call life is in itself a death we go through to find the reality of life. I wish I knew for sure. Our cast included Jennifer Harmon, Jack Grimes, Nancy Coleman, and Joe Silver. The entire production was under the direction of Hyman Brown.
Now, a preview of our next tale. But, honey, this morning I felt the way you do. But damn it all, you haven't seen what I've seen. That Indian looked like he'd been scalped. I know, I saw it. I'm not just talking. Now, we've got to get rid of the horse.
Jeff, listen to me, dear. If we give in now, we'll lose all authority. This taboo, or whatever it is stupid and barbaric, and we're not going to yield to it. I'm going to make some coffee.
Stay away from the sink. And that's not superstition. The pipes form a perfect ground for the lightning.
You mean I can't even run water for coffee?
Not until the worst of the storm is over. Now, it's heading for us right now. Joe was telling me that before lightning strikes, you can sometimes feel an electric charge run through your body. You feel your hairs rise. It's the hand of Chindi. Then you're probably going to be hit, and the only thing to do is drop flat on the ground and pray.
Oh, thanks.
Radio Mystery Theater was sponsored in part by Anheuser-Busch Incorporated, Brewers of Budweiser, and Buick Motor Division. This is E.G. Marshall inviting you to return to our Mystery Theater for another adventure in the macabre. Until next time, pleasant dreams.